Coming to you from the New World, this is Mushi Weekly. I am your host, Sammy, and joining me today is James Brennan from the Army Toilet Corps.
Hello, I'm Recoilation.
And the Panda X Koala Express himself.
Hello, I'm Divvens.
And a ghost literally just lurking. And this is the 11th episode of your official OJ podcast where we discuss and review the latest One Piece chapter. Just as a disclaimer before we begin, this is going to be the first podcast official podcast where we're only 3 people because of, co-host couldn't attend, and it's going to be fun. We're just going to go for it. The previous chapter brief summary is quite simple, to be honest. We got 3 things, from it. The final battle between, the 5 combatants in the tournament, Pika showcasing his abilities against Luffy, Zoro, Viola, and of course how he is the castle and how it's his turf. And we end off the chapter with the Tentara Corps and Uso/Robland preparing to initiate their attack and execute the plan. Which really is the follow-up to everything regarding chapter 738, which, by the way, chapter 738, titled Treble Army's Special Officer, Sugar. And this week's cover page for chapter 738, this week it's all about Frankie and him building toy houses for hamsters. What do you guys think? Is it going to be memorable? Is it your favorite out of all the Straw Hat ones?
I know one person is going to love this.
Ah, yeah.
You know who I'm talking about as well, right? The hamster of OroJackson, Rex. But it was cute. It was just cute. Seeing all those little hamsters here and there, and he's building a dollhouse for them. It was just, I think it's a special kind of thing which suits him.
I liked how, first of all, whenever Frankie's bold, I approve. Second of all, I just really like how he's just wielding a chainsaw in one hand and mini arm holding a hammer, just knocking on things on the other hand. I like how he's a carpenter, just everything regarding building, and yeah. I like that about him. What did you think, Cam?
I thought it was the best art-wise of all of them. It's not my favorite, but it looked really well done to me. I would say when I first saw it, I thought the hamster, whatever on his head, was part of his hairstyle, but it's not. I don't think. But it looked like that.
It's not even weird. He could pull it off.
You'd expect that.
Hamster.
Yeah, you'd expect that from him, but. I don't know, there's not many amazing funny things, it's just a really well drawn cover page, so I thought it was a nice start to the chapter.
The dollhouse he built has this royal look to it, and it matches with the Dressrosa palace feel, the whole royal feel to it, and as well as a shout out to Ishui, the Chinese people, the Chinese scanlators who actually redrew the whole thing, because there was Japanese text over half of it.
Everywhere.
Yeah, the cover page had half of Japanese text, and they actually redrew a lot of parts of it. So if you guys want to see the cover page in its full glory, either you wait for the Viz manga Shonen Jump Alpha, which comes out on Monday, or go to Power Manga and look at the cover page there. It's just brilliant.
So that's it for the cover page. Personally, just to give my take, that's my second favorite. Zoro's being my favorite. So, the summary of chapter 738, this current chapter, Treble notices a fly, and using his devil fruit powers and his coordination, he shoots the fly with enough force to knock it through the wall of the executive tower. This scares all the dwarfs, but Leo boasts that even if he can hit a fly, he will not be able to hit him, and proceeds to run towards the tower, as the other dwarves and Usopp cheer Leo on, Nico Robin stops him. Inside the Smile Factory, the dwarves are being forced to work on growing Smile and are living in very poor conditions and being fed rotten food. The dwarves are being lied to by the Don Quixote family and are under the impression that they are growing Smile to cure their princess. Now, whether or not that's true, we don't know. While a group of pink hornets attack one of the ships at the dock, Robin uses her disguise to lure Treble away from the tower. The Tintara Kingdom army then decides to face Sugar head-on, which leads to some of them turning into toys and being pit against their own Nakama, their own dwarf family, if you will, in a battle. Once Treble finds out the truth behind the current situation, he flings a ship up and hurls it towards the executive tower in complete and utter rage and anger, which has a, rightfully so, huge impact. So yeah, we're gonna move on to the initial thoughts, and the thing is, before we even move on to the initial thoughts, I just wanna say one thing. Just disclaimer before initial thoughts. Usopp, grow some balls for the love of God, dude, please. Just wanted to say that and get it off of my chest. We'll let, Recoilation, go for it, bro.
Alright, thank you. My initial thoughts on this chapter were that initially I wasn't as into this chapter as I thought I'd be, considering we came right off a break. Similar to last time we came off a break, we went straight into the Frankie taking down the toy house section. And although they were good progression chapters, and they are needed, they came after a break. And so they sort of were a bit underwhelming to a lot of people, and me especially. But as I've read it another couple of times, especially the Power Manga translation, it's grown on me. It's this section of the story is the least enjoyed if you factor in the Luffy Zoro Pika situation, the Colosseum fight, the Sanji Big Mom, and even for me personally, Senior Pink and Frankie and the Vice Admiral. They'd all be a little bit more exciting. Maybe this is on par with the Frankie part, but nonetheless, it is a very important stepping stone into progressing the story, thanks to simply Sugar's existence. So the fact that this gets a whole chapter where it's nothing but content on it is good. And what actually happens in it is good. So I was especially, on the Usopp part, I'll mention it now. I don't think he's actually not grown. I think it's just a convenient point that the most gullible people in the One Piece series are who he's teamed up with right now, so he can get away with it. And he's getting used to getting away with being a coward. He was like back to his old self, even more than that sometimes. But eventually, I reckon the point will come where he just goes complete brave mode on his own without being goaded into it, because it might be weighing on his conscience that he's taken advantage of the naivety of these creatures that are just so gullible, as we saw as well with the ones that are working underground. But anyway, aside from that, we have Robin, Treble, and Sugar all stood out heavily and amazingly to me this chapter. Robin especially is one of my favorite characters. And it was just awesome to me when I first saw the page to see her using like a transported head, and like she can keep up with the speed of what's going on and just quickly analyzing and coming up with a plan on the spot. And that took some guts, because this is an important plan. This is the pretty much make or break for the whole Dressrosa operation, started by Law and that. So, as well as that, her just leading Treble out with the clone and eventually tricking him and enraging him to throw a ship at the tower was good. And anyway, besides that, Treble himself throwing a ship at the tower, being a pretty enjoyable personality, he just looks funny. I like his panels. He really does remind me of, I think it's Ringo Starr from the Beatles, and his look. And he's just like a sticky version of that, obviously in a manga, format. And he's just cool. And now he's actually strong. Like, throwing the ship is no joke at all. Just like casually throwing, he has to be strong. And his Devil Fruit obviously enables him to do it, but you need strength to do that. And I was just impressed. I thought it was awesome that the Sugar part especially as well made this chapter good, because it really highlighted characters, except Usopp, of course. But three of them got real highlights and abilities and what they can do. Anyway, I'll move on again to Sugar, my favorite part of the chapter. I really like Sugar. She's always been pretty funny and just casually eats, the grapes all chapter long normally. But now she just throws it out in a pretty badass way for a little girl and just completely she just turns the Toys Planet Advance on its head, and now the toys are fighting within themselves, and she showed some considerable skill there, and was pretty badass in some of the panels. I just loved it. I just thought the character progression, both personality and fighting wise, for all three, because we got a hint at what Robin could possibly do, but we haven't. They're all pretty much tactical abilities. But other than that, Sugar and Treble made the chapter, and I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was good. The more I read it, the more I enjoy it, because I never really think a chapter's that bad, so I'm easily amused. And those are my initial thoughts of chapter 738. And next to give his initial thoughts is Krasse.
Thank you, Cam. Well, for this chapter, the main thing I really liked is not the characters, not the fighting, not the plot, not the whatever. It's just the fact that Oda decided to stick with one part all in all and go from there. And that's really rare from Oda. And some people hate it, some people like it, sticking with one part. A lot of people disliked it this week. I mean, you can see for yourself. You can go to the One Piece thread discussion and see the ratings. And it's been a really long time since I've seen such controversy in the rating, where 5 people voted for meh and just 18 people voted for good. And it's just, it shows you that people don't like this aspect, but I do. I really do. And it progressed the underground world part heavily, to the point where I used to have this mindset a few weeks ago, where I just kind of wanted to see Sanji's part with Big Mom, Sabo's part with Burgess and Diamante and the rest, and Luffy, Zoro's, Violet's part with Doflamingo. These 3 parts, more than Treyball, Sugar, Usoland, and Robland. And it's kind of expected, because it's the least, it's more tactical and all of that. But this chapter puts it equal to the other 3 parts, the other 3 main parts of this arc. There are 4 points of, 3 subpoints and 1 main point. And this subpoint currently is really enjoyable. I really like the characters being portrayed in this whole scenario. Treyball is a funny ass dude, and he's really entertaining. I don't know why but every freaking panel he's been in so far has been amusing, to say the least. At the very least, amusing. I like the character a lot. I like his style, his attitude. The second Robin points at the so-called troublemakers, he blitzes through everything. He's like, "You idiots, what have you been doing?" And then they explain that part, and then he just looks at Robin. He's like, "That bitch," and then he blitzes again. And the way he does things is hyper. The guy is hyper to no God's end, and I don't know, I like it. He's really cool, and people who think he could be weaker than Pika and Diamante, like, significantly, because I mean, out of the 3, one could be possibly the strongest, but now it's really safe to assume that this guy is as powerful, or just near their power, since disregarding his devil fruit, which usually any kind of devil fruit is good in terms of combat when it comes to Oda. But disregarding his devil fruit, he has physical strength, accuracy to no end, eye coordination, agility, impressive fucking speed, and it's just, all in all, he seems to be the full package. I mean, there is nothing that he lacks right now other than kind of being tricked, which, I mean, Robin, you're obviously gonna get tricked by Robin. Speaking of which, Nico Robin. So wonderful, this chapter. I mean, I really liked Robin this chapter. First of all, she's the only one who realized that if this goes on, this plan is gonna get, shredded apart. It's gonna get torn apart. And do mind that she noticed how a person who is significantly far away flinched a fly between the eyes. She noticed that. Trayvol doing it was really impressive, but Robin noticed that. Like, when she went out of her way to actually pay attention to that little part. And she also did something with her double fruit to see the impact of that action right there. And before it begins, she stopped Leo. She was very straightforward. If you keep on going, Trayvol will end you. This plan will end sooner rather than later if you proceed. And that was really straightforward in a good way from Robin. I liked it a lot. And do I need to begin with the other part of Robin's whole thing? I mean, she tricked an elite executive officer off of from the Don Quixote family members, and the way she did it was very impressive because she didn't do it once, she did it twice, and she did get help from the dwarves, creating this whole bees and hornets and just wasps all around. But at the same time, she was extremely calm. Trayvol just kept asking her questions. She replied back instantly with extreme calmness, and she was just pleasant to see, and the way she acted. Also, she showcased something that we haven't seen before. We've seen her multiply, kind of like a clone ish ability, where she can multiply herself, and one of them is just simply not the real one. But this time, this quote-unquote clone, if I'm not mistaken, is significantly far away from the real Robin, and she also, the clone talked, responded, and everything, which was that's cool. Like, her clone was lifelike, which is really cool. And yeah, I mean, Nico Robin's part was really amazing, and Sugar. I mean, we all expected it. There was no doubt that she was going to have combat ability and some sort of expertise when it comes to using her double fruit and implement it in combat. But I really liked her part. I liked how I liked her attitude. She was like the way she addressed the dwarves, just calling them by their tribe, explaining what's up, and noticing them before she even got there. They even got there. And the way she took them out, or most of them at least, was extremely impressive. The panel itself was really beautiful. And yeah, I mean, it's safe to assume that Usopp's gonna fight Sugar. And speaking of Usopp, I'm gonna mention something that Cam said and explain my part of it. As far as Usopp, thing is, I'm fully aware that he's gonna turn into his brave form really soon, whether it's Soga King or not. He's gonna redeem himself. We know that. It's just that the fact that he needs to redeem himself over fucking dwarf toys is pissing me off. He was afraid of dwarf toys. When they were said to attack everyone, he was afraid. This guy was afraid of toys that are dwarfs. It's just, I'm not trying to underestimate the dwarfs. It's just that Sugar can take care of them. Lao G can take care of them. A lot of people can take care of them. They're strong. It's just that they're not that strong. And Usopp should be able to handle them easily. It's just that he's still afraid, and despite taking advantage of their gullible side, the dwarves, he's still being really annoying, and he has regressed instead of progressed, which is disappointing. In Fishman Island, he was really good, the way he fought that one fishman, and the way he saved the Sunnyville, but now he's regressing, and that's disappointing. Of course he's going to redeem himself, but that's too late, because it's just going to happen and keep happening, where he's afraid, weak, or just kind of seemingly weak and afraid, and then all of a sudden he's brave again. It needs to stop. He needs to have something different. Yeah, and that's my full initial thoughts on this. Oh, one more thing. Holy crap, I almost forgot. Ship being thrown by Trayvol. That was fucking beastly. Like, this guy, out of anger, used his stick fruit to, I guess, stick the ship, and with his own physical strength, just flung it to the fucking executive tower. For some reason, dude, you're hurting your Nakama and whatever, and like, even Sugar is there. But he didn't care. He was so pissed off. He didn't strike me as the guy who would get pissed off. He's always, just he's the troll of the three. And trolls usually don't get pissed off, but he got enraged. Like that one panel before he threw it, and the panel where he threw it, he was just kind of, he used his shoulder for that one flinging, which was, I mean, we got our badass point of this chat. We've had 3 badass panels, and that was indeed a badass panel, in my opinion, the most badass panel of the whole chapter. So yeah, that was my final initial thoughts, and Divvens will take it from here.
Thank you, Sammy. Well, I made my first impression pretty clear on the chapter topic. I know it's Usopp's thing to be scared, to be the weak one, to be the one who gets others into trouble before getting motivated. But I would expect even a weak character to eventually learn that he should stop causing trouble and almost getting people killed. I mean, if I were weak, I would know my faults and I would not keep repeating them, because repeating them means you're not getting stronger anyhow. I mean, you don't need to be physically or mentally strong, but at least you need to have a strong will. And I know Usopp is this character who always rises up and, redeems himself at the end, but come on, how long is it going to go? And then next island, we're going to go back to square root 1, where Usopp is again going to cause problems and make people sacrifice before getting motivated at first. I really hope it stops after the Elbaf arc, which is mainly going to be Usopp's arc, but it's getting to a point where it's getting repetitive and annoying, because you would think that weak characters can grow to understand that at least they shouldn't cause problems to others because of their lies and weakness. I mean, we have seen many weak characters in different mangas, and the one which pops to my mind the most is Hitman Reborn, where the main protagonist was weak and scared, and he always wanted to run away from a fight, but he never allowed somebody to get sacrificed or somebody to get hurt due to him and his cowardly behavior. And I mean, that's something Usopp needs to. That's one of the reason I even I don't dislike his character, but he's one of the most least like Straw Hats for me personally. And apart from Usopp, this chapter was really awesome. I mean, when Sugar used her abilities and turned them all into little black bears, and that stance she took, it's like you would expect Zoro to cut through millions of foes and just stand that way, with the swords, one sword in his mouth and 2 swords on his hand, and gives that epic pose, and then Sugar is with such an epic pose. And what can I say about Treble? He picked up a freaking ship like it was nothing, and that ship wasn't small. We have seen the scale of that ship before. That's just massive, and props to Robin, because she's making up for everything Usopp is doing wrong. And let's hope that because of Usopp, Robin doesn't get into trouble, because then, oh my god, isn't he going to get even more hate? So, yeah, basically my first impression is my dislike for Usopp, sadly, but this chapter makes up a lot to negate that dislike and make me dislike the whole chapter, because Sugar and Robin and Treble and Sammy's weird Robin x Treble shipping, which he will definitely get killed for one day. Overall, this chapter was really great, and my first impression was the Usopp part was no, it doesn't float my boat, and the rest was just awesome, and as always, just what you'd expect of One Piece. And that's it for my first impressions.
Before we move on to the next segment, I just kind of want to comment on something that Divvens said. He said basically Usopp's cowardness and sort of attitude currently could get Robin into trouble. I'm sorry to say, Divvens and everyone, but Usopp already put Robin into trouble. If you think about it, if he could have handled Sugar and didn't motivate, quote unquote, the dwarves, then she wouldn't have reported that there is something wrong, and he wouldn't have been so suspecting of that situation, and Robin would have not, now Treyball is on lock on both Robin and Usopp and these two, indirectly because of Usopp. I just wanted to mention that. So yeah, more hate on Usopp, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I don't want to hate too much because I like the character. I like Usopp. He's gonna get better. I know that, but it's pissing me off. We're gonna move on to the key points of this chapter. We have 3 key points, but the third key point has 2 main sub points. It's kind of weird, but you're gonna see what we did here. But before we do that, we're just gonna hop on the first key point. The least eventful because it was short, but at the same time, it needed a mention or two because of how awesome Robin is. Basically, Robin stopping the dwarves and realizing something. That is the first key point, where she notices Treyball's eye coordination and agility and all that when he swatted the fly, and then proceeds to stop the dwarves from commencing their plan and executing it, and failing miserably if they would have done so, which they still failed. But I mean, yeah. This part, basically, do you want to mention anything about Robin or the dwarves or something that could explain, cause I've seen a lot of people confused with this part, chapter, but this part in general, anything you guys want to mention?
I've noticed that as the, story has gone on, rather the arc has gone on, the dwarves have sort of gone down more notches at a time. Like, the first day you were like, when we first saw Wicca and she accidentally like smashed the ground, you were like, oh, we have really high hopes for what these guys can do. Like even hold their own against possible executives. You never know. But at this point, it's like they're just so gullible and it's almost just such a downfall that they just believe everything.
I agree, actually.
Go in whole hard. Like they seem their use is simply numbers, like distraction. Like they actually have no individual strength that's going to be a problem. And your point on Usopp was very true. Like I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt in some way. I am annoyed by him, but the fact that he actually has put Robin in harm, I didn't think of as much. And she's also in harm because the dwarves and Usopp together are a shit combo because they're gullible and cowardly. And it's like when you mix them together, it's like she has to do all the work, but she's not really strength. Like she can't, as much as a few people have suggested, she can't take on Treble herself. She cannot fight Treble. What's her last one-on-one fight been? She's taken on fodders of everyone. Yama from Skypiea.
Yeah.
Like, she hasn't had a fight, but if her fight's gonna be against a sticky guy that can throw a ship at a tower that is on par with Pika, who's messing up with Zoro and Luffy and distracting them with the hindrance, it's like, what? Like, it doesn't make sense, but also, it's such a handicap for them. They're like the weakest group overall, because Robin's influence is not to be used for fighting, it's to be used for everything but. And Usopp is best also for like trickily, like they actually are a good combo. Like they're a good assassination combo. They're not a good fighting combo, and that's what they've been turned into because the Executive Tower and their like whole plot has been unraveled. Now that they're destroyed and Treble knows what's going on and Sugar does too. It's just looking grim. But other than that,
really grim. And
yeah,
Divvens part of the theory that he made in regards to Robin and Usopp probably failing is more plausible. It's just that I do see Usopp defeating Sugar. I do see that, and it's a given. He fought Corona. He fought I do see that, but I don't know how they're gonna handle Treyball. But Robin is doing her thing. She's trying. Where it goes, whether Cavendish truly does interfere or anything, or anyone interferes, I am not entirely sure at this point in time. What do you think, Divvens?
Well, I am very, very confused about this part because, first of all, I want to make it clear that Oda isn't sexist, but this is a shonen. And it has been a running thing that Robin or Nami have never, faced serious opponents like the Monster Trio or Frankie or Brooke for that matter. They have mostly been towards the fodder side, and their importance is very least in battles. Without Nami, the Straw Hats could sail not even 1 mile before they would drown and die. That's the importance Nami plays for the crew. She isn't there for the firepower. She's there for everything else except the fighting. Robin is there for the intel and for knowing everything and informing the crew and also the history part. So she's also there for a role which is apart from fighting. And I don't see why all these women, I mean, no offense to anyone, but at least it's not a problem on OroJackson, but on another few communities, they're always like, oh, Oda is so sexist. Yeah, he's never going to make Robin fight anyone serious. But people need to understand that is not Robin's freaking role. I mean, if it was her role, she would be strong, but it is not her role to be a firepower like Sanji or Zoro or Frankie for that matter. So, if Robin is going to fight Triple here, I am pretty sure that she's going to need some kind of saving, because she couldn't fight Monet back at Punk Hazard, and Monet was
And I'd like to point out one thing that Divvens just sorry for interrupting you, but I need to say this right now. Some people said that Monet was extremely impressive because she interrupted Zoro at one point, even though, you know, whatever. Luffy at one point, Robin, Tashigi, Nami, Usopp. She has done her. She did work in Punk Hazard. But they need to realize that Robin was losing the fight. Not being confused or anything. She was losing a fight, one-on-one fight between this person and this person. And she was also, I don't want to say this, I don't know, because I'm not really sure, but I kind of put, no, never mind. Okay, Tashigi and Robin are sort of equal. And I don't see it, I just don't see Robin when Monet is that impressive. Just imagine how Treble is going to be if he decides to go serious. Just imagine a guy who is equal to a person who's fighting Sabo and Jesus Burgess, and another guy who is currently holding Zoro and Luffy at the same. Granted, he's in his turf and whatnot, but he's holding the two most combat emphasized characters in the Straw Hats, excluding Sanji because he's currently not in Dressrosa at all. But yeah, it's just you guys need to realize that, and hopefully. But all in all, what do you think? How she sensed something and she had her own plan, but did Usopp really ruin everything right now? How do I say this? Robin had a plan. It kind of got ruined because Sugar knows. And when Sugar knew, Treble now knows. Where are we going from here? What is going to happen?
I don't think Usopp has ruined a plan yet, but he's caused plans to change a lot. So he hasn't really failed.
Is there a plan right now?
The plan is to get the fuck out of the rubble, first and foremost, probably. I'm not sure. I'm trying to... the points from 2 chapters ago, or was it last chapter, where we had Cavendish as a toy and all that, they're nearby. So if Usopp, the next plan would be Usopp taking down Sugar. It would have to be him, because the dwarves are useless right now and they're fighting themselves if they're not stuck in rubble. Treble was going to go right after Robin because she knows her face, whereas she might not immediately recognize Usopp. So he might have time. But if he's able to somehow perhaps shoot one of the things left over into Sugar's mouth, which sounds disgusting, and knock her out,
wow,
that will be a good cause for the toys to the whole Dressrosa. That's the main part of the art. Everyone's not a toy anymore. And then Cavendish, who's nearby, I don't know how he's going to work into, or any of the other strong potential fighters from the Colosseum. If any of them are unturned and they see Treble around and they're just going to be fuck you, Doflamingo, and take out a subordinate or something. But that's all I can see as what's going to happen positively. But as a plan, the next plan I'd have for them would be Robin tells Usopp, you have to deal with Sugar, as Robin maybe holds off Treble with more clones or something. That's what I would think would happen next. What do you think,
agree.
Divvens?
I do see that, but Let's talk about this a little bit more in depth in the last key point. Let's move on to the next key point now.
Sorry, we went on a tangent then, so.
Nah, it's fine, it's fine. I mean, all what we've said so far is very useful. It doesn't matter. So, the synthetic devil fruit creating smile factory. That is the second key point. That is a very important part of the chapter because we are finally seeing, like, witnessing this atmosphere of a factory. You know, we're seeing it. We've seen it. It has it has its little box where it confirms what it is, and we see the dwarfs working and whatnot. So, I mean, first of all, is there a princess that is ill? Or is that a very gullible lie? Because that is a very specific lie.
It's a lie. I think it was hinted at it was a lie, wasn't it? I thought it
was. Was it? Confirmed. I mean, I thought
he had a thought bubble that said, well, they fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Like, there's a thought bubble from, what's his name? It's like Sunshita. He said they fell for it hook, line, sinker in his head. So I thought that meant it was a lie 100%. But
let me, while you guys talk about it, I want to go check when he said that. I mean, I know he did, but he lied like 3 times.
It's a lie because, first off, the dwarves haven't approached the area for a year, more than a year. They left their comrades back. And if you remember, Leo already knows that the princes, as well as their comrades, are being held captives, quote unquote, in the factory. So they are aware that their princess isn't unwell. But the dwarves inside, the 500 dwarves currently serving as laborers, who by the way are living in very bad conditions, are unaware because they are gullible. I mean, the dwarves attacking Sugar were going to just leave her because she said, "Oh no, you're confused" and stuff like that. So
I know, but I mean, sorry for interrupting, but the part where he bluntly says a lie is when he says that is out of the question. If by some chance you guys caught that rare disease, so does that kind of include both of them as lies?
Yeah, that's a lie. And he started crying. Look, he had that fake tear, and then he was like, they're so gullible. So they didn't want the dwarves to meet the princess because she's actually being kept captive, but the dwarves don't know that. They're like, oh, this guy cares for us, so let's just work and stuff.
Indeed. Okay. Also, growing devil fruits. That is a new concept for us. Growing, the artificial.
The smile. That proves that it's, I mean, they use the dwarves because it was said that they can grow any plant, and the whole thing underground is grown by them. They even have a fake sun there thanks to their skills. So the fact that he's making them work as slaves, for extended hours and stuff, it makes no sense to me. I mean, if they are so valuable, wouldn't you at least keep them in a healthy environment while working? I mean, Doflamingo has loads of money, can't he? Wouldn't it make a better business sense to keep the dwarves more alive so that they can be more productive, rather than just beat them with love whips or whatever that is called?
You have a point. You have a point, actually. I think that they're just being complacent right now because all they need to do in order to give them motivation is to lie, and then they're back to square one. It's just that whether you lie or not, if you eat rotten fish, you're bound to get really, really, really sick, and you're bound to be less productive. So yeah, I agree. Just at least fucking healthy food. Doflamingo, come on, man. They're workers. They're not. Yeah. Anyway, one thing I really noticed about this part is that, first of all, there is I may be overthinking it, but there is a liquid. There is a tank where there is liquid in it. How the hell does that work out with creating a devil fruit?
I thought that was the SAD that Caesar used, wasn't it?
No, I know. It's just that how is it like scientific? Like, are we about to see or know more things about how fruits are like originated? Like, is that possible in this arc? Can we get that?
I think we're going to hear maybe the exact process for why Smile works. Like, we know with this ingredient, you can make it, but you don't know like how you get from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like the SAD is the river in this place, and you can see there is holes going into like the underground where the trees are, where it's growing on. Perhaps they're using that to cultivate like the ground it's growing in. So it's just simply like a nutrient. That's just simply all it is. It's just an absorbed nutrient. And because it's in a dome, perhaps the dome is like helping with what's the word? The greenhouse effect that happens. Like it's speeding up the process. So that's what I'm thinking. And it's pretty generic, but I just want to know what the SAD thing is. Like, why is that so needed for a devil fruit? Like, that's
there you go. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what. Do you have anything about it, Divvens? Because apparently we both are asking more than answering about this part, which is rightfully so. And I think you have the same thing. But just in case, if you have any kind of theory behind it or anything, you can speak up.
I don't really have a theory of any sort because it's as you said, it's quite unclear. But I think we're going to get more info as and when it keeps going. And well, one thing is sure that the SAD is needed as to how is it needed. That's questionable. Like it's running there as a river, but does it need to like seep into the trees via the ground or something like that? Who knows? But yeah, it's unclear, and I guess we'll get an answer. For now,
we'll hopefully get an answer. Yeah.
Yeah, we just know that SAD is an important aspect. First, I thought that they were actually turning SAD into those fruits, but now it's
exactly now. Like after, like that's what I'm saying. Like that was my impression. That was
that was my first impression as well. It seemed like that. Yeah. So it's still taken a toll. It's like no, they're normal trees, but we need this instead of water or something like that. I'm not sure, but
yeah, it's probably really simple. Like it's it's been said that only Caesar can make it. He can make it. Like it must be such a process that's like so intricate that no normal man could do it, but because he worked under Vegapunk, he can. But it's probably just they analyzed a devil fruit in some way and took out like the chemical process. But it's like this isn't 21st century. This is One Piece. This is based like.
And
Vegapunk's 500 years ahead of his time, but it's still a stretch, and it's like I don't know. It's confusing.
The thing is, I mean, before we end off this part of the key points, I just want to mention how this is going to be a crappy example. But I'll go for it because this is the only example I have out of this, or a C-mile, if you will. If you watch the Breaking Bad, methamphetamine, it's kind of like what I'm seeing right now is similar. You have a factory and a very complicated formula, but once you know the formula, once you memorize the formula, once your hands and brain gets adapted to the formula, it just keeps going. And Walter White being Vegapunk and his partner, which I forgot his name, which is
Jesse Pinkman.
Jesse. How did I forget his name? Jesse Pinkman is Caesar Clown, sort of. And these two people are like. Look, if you've watched Breaking Bad, you know what I'm talking about. If you've watched Breaking Bad, you right about now know my exact mindset, along with whoever watched Breaking Bad. So yeah, I'm just gonna end it there and move on to the third key point, which actually is the longest and the final key point. The struggle begins. Robin distracts and dwarves attack. Very generic title for it, but it's extremely in depth. We went extremely in depth on it. The first thing that happens with it is obviously, as the title says, Robin distracts Treyball while in disguise and tricks him into going with her destination far away from where Sugar is. So we have two main sub-points in this key point. The first being Sugar and her part, where she showcases her abilities and everything. And the second part being Robin and Treyball's part of that chapter, where Treyball gets distracted, tricked. Robin showcases some of her things. Treyball showcases some of his things and everything. So we're going to start off with the first main sub point, which is Sugar and all. What did you guys think about this? I mean, if you guys want me to say, like, the main points of it is just Usopp convincing the Tentara to attack Sugar head on, which was a mistake. Sugar notices the dwarves and both confront each other, obviously, and just the way Sugar portrayed her ability and the contract that she gave, which was very intriguing. It caused a lot of people to talk about it, which was really nice. I mean, the contract made a lot of discussions, which is just weird, but that's how it is. And yeah, so what do you guys think?
She shows that her abilities can be even more hacks than we even thought. It's like asking a genie who gives you one wish for 1,000 more wishes. That's what she has done now. The contract she made was, you will listen to all my orders until you die. That means she has made a contract with which she can make endless sorts of mini contracts, and that's just so overpowered. And the speed. I mean, when we saw the dwarves the first time when they were introduced as fairies, they were running away from Zoro, that single scout dwarf, and they are shown to be so powerful and fast. And now you come to, and they're pit them against the Don Quixote family. The dwarf speed is nothing for Lao Ji. The dwarf speed is nothing for Treble. The dwarf speed is nothing for Sugar. I mean, their speed is being forgerized, and you can just imagine how fast and how monstrous these officers of the Don Quixote family are. I mean, no doubts we knew they were going to be monsters, but this is just a subtle way that Oda is showing, look, these guys are known for their speed, and these guys are making their speed look like nothing, you know? And the way she just turned them all into those black little bears instantly, making people even forget while they were watching what happened. And I mean, the guys, the dwarves who got turned into toys, very well know that they're going against their friends, but Leo and the others don't know that they're going to fight against their own friends. And that's even Usopp has clearly lost his memory, and he's in the tower as well, very close to them. And I just can't see how this will go or end well now with a ship just crashing over their head. I mean, it would be funny if the ship crashing actually scared Sugar and knocked her out, but I don't think that's going to happen.
It's safe to assume that Sugar is not the gullible child that we thought she was.
Exactly.
She's extremely wise, and the way she handled herself so calmly when the dwarfs came, her appearance is very young, her mind is very wise and old.
Exactly. I feel that kind of, behavior, that kind of reaction, that kind of response is, you don't get that kind of response even from Nami or even for Usopp.
Exactly.
That shows that Sugar has seen a lot of the world, and she's at least as old as Robin or even older. Maybe, between Robin and Doflamingo. Her age is really, really...
I'd say she was already old 10 years ago when she had the devil fruit. Yeah. So she's old. It would be funny, like really, really, really funny, if for some reason she was the oldest person in One Piece. Like she's just 200 years old.
Like she can never age. She can never age, but I don't think she's...
I hope she's at Robin's age, if anything, latest. Anything older would freak me out. I don't know, just because I've seen her as this little girl, it's like, I don't know, it just feels weird.
Mine out of the gutter, man.
What?
You didn't even speak about anything weird, Sammy. And
it's because we've heard the voice actor as well. The voice actor for Sugar is
extremely young.
Kugimi, yeah. She does the voice for Kagura and Gintama, and I'm just imagining Kagura as like a 6-year-old. It just puts me off. It's just me though. So, let's go on.
But yeah, I mean,
Sugar, she's not aging, and the experience just shows that. I mean, if she would have got scared or reacted any other way, then we could know that okay, she's maybe even Dellinger when Bartholomew was standing in front of him.
Dellinger is really young, though.
Yeah. I'm just comparing Sugar and Dellinger, so that shows that Sugar is on a whole different level than the other normal officers. Like we know the executive officers are something to be feared of, but
the only time where she showed some sort of care, if you will, was when she was reporting to Tribble regarding what's going on.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that was the only time she was actually a little bit serious and had a face that showed some sort of worry, if you will.
Indeed.
But yeah, let's speak a little bit specifically about the contract. The latter part of the contract, not the first part. The first part was basically everyone you will obey my orders to the death. That was just, that's OP. That's just like, you are my slaves. Everything I say you do until you die. That's pretty much it. We don't know if you can change your order once you give the contract, because contracts are usually in manga and real life as well are, how do I say this? They're ironclad. You don't just change a contract every 2 days. The fact that they use the word contract makes me think like that. And her ultimate, if you will, contract is simply, you will obey all my orders to the death. And then she moves on to say, everyone inside the executive tower, slaughter them all. First of all, slaughter them all, as in literally just everyone. That's what slaughter them all means. But the main part was everyone inside the executive tower. The executive tower being not the whole underground world, but specifically the tower of the executives. You know, that's the center of the underground world. The place where there are like just poles and arcs and whatever are coming out from the top. Is she saying that because she thinks it was intruded already, or is there something that we don't know and we kind of overthought? Or what do you guys think about that?
I think she knows that there's somebody apart from the dwarfs. That much is clear, and that's why she gave the order to kill everyone inside the officer's tower, so that she makes sure that there's no one who is going to try to sneak attack on her, or, you know, she's just taking care of all the loose ends.
You see, because I was thinking of something. They somehow, the dwarves kind of do their thing, and then they end up going to the executive tower. And then Usopp comes out behind the wall and just goes like, your order was to kill everyone in the executive tower. I am not in the executive tower. You will be my opponent, or something like that. I see that. I don't know why. I just do.
Oh, that is cool.
And
I wouldn't be surprised that happened.
So yeah, I mean, I'm seeing that, and that sort of redeems the dude, but still, I mean, at the same time, it's like, it's a scenario where it happens, where, Usopp's opponent got outsmarted somehow, where Usopp's opponent wanted, for this example currently, to fight, for everyone inside the executive tower to be killed. But lo and behold, there's a straw hat that is outside of the executive tower. And in comes Usopp, and the fight begins between these two. I see that. I really see that. And that was sort of my mini theory over that part, if you will.
Is she, like she said, kill everyone. She's in the tower, so like she can't be affected, I assume, as the contract maker. That's just a given, I guess, right? Because they're not going up there.
Yeah, I mean, if you tell an army to go kill everyone, you
just turn around and kill them.
Yeah, they're not gonna kill their themselves, because everyone includes themselves as well. But they have some sort of sense.
I'm thinking that everyone inside the executive tower means everyone inside it at the time that they see them, rather than the time that the contract was made. Like, I think it might just be, I don't know, but that would be a cool way to do it. I don't know, the contract stuff I haven't thought about as much. I think one thing I was thinking about though was, do you know how Sugar's appearance has not changed and for God knows how long?
Mm-hmm.
Does she actually sleep? Because if she sleeps, that is akin to being knocked out. And that doesn't change the thing. So I don't know if we talked about it before, but I'm thinking that she doesn't actually sleep. And that was just a little side thing that I thought of then. And because I'm wondering if knocking her out will even do anything.
We did talk about that.
Did you actually talk about it?
Very, very in-depthly.
I remember you talked about Cavendish sleeping, but not Sugar.
No, we talked about, an argument where does sleeping, can be considered being knocked out. And we implemented sleeping gas and acid and whatever into the discussion. But moral of the story, sleeping doesn't knock you out. It's a state of unconsciousness, but at the same time, it's a state of awareness at the same time, because you're willingly going through the unconsciousness.
Yeah, you can willingly be woken up too. Like, if you're
Yeah.
unconscious, you don't wake up when someone slaps you in the face, like, straight away.
Exactly, yeah.
I guess,
and if you're knocked out, if you're legitimately knocked out, or you're knocked out, you're done, you're out cold, you can get a hammer, smack someone with the hammer, they're not gonna wake up. And that, that is the explanation of that part again. But yeah, Divvens, do you have anything to say about this main subpoint?
I do like the point you brought up, that Usopp finding a flaw with the order, but somehow I think that Sugar is also going to give them new orders as and when it goes. Like, she's going to be, eventually at some point she's going to tell them to stop and do something else, maybe.
Kind of when they're gone, though. Like, there are no dwarves, no toys around her, and then all of a sudden Usopp shows up. I was thinking of that.
That's possible. Well, will they chase the dwarves out, even if the dwarves like run away outside?
Yeah, true.
Will they chase them? That's one questionable. Like, you see this, and then Treble is going to be going back with that awesome speed he has towards the tower. So even if Usopp does find, like, let's say, a minute or two free, I don't think he's going to be able to do much before Treble reacts. And who knows, maybe the much awaited theory, or much awaited plot twist that one of the Straw Hats are going to be turned into toys is going to come into effect now. Who knows?
Possible, but I mean, the thing is, Straw Hats are already at a very, very, very huge disadvantage. I mean, just go easy on them, Oda. That's all I'm gonna say. Although I don't want you to go easy on them. Just full despair mode, please, because that makes the story better. But yeah, I mean, I just don't see it, because right now the problem is that creates another subplot. Do you guys agree? It will create an official new subplot, a Straw Hat being turned into a toy, and people are forgetting about that specific Straw Hat, including his Nakama. And it's just, I think it's too late for it. We were way into the arc where someone is going to turn into I don't know. I may be overthinking it. It may be short where Usopp gets turned. No. Like, I don't know. Maybe could Robin possibly turn into a toy? I don't see it. It doesn't fit. But, I mean, God, so many fucking predictions. My head is killing me. Let's just put it as it is and move on to the next main subpoint, because if we start talking about the possibilities, it'll never end. And that's the beauty of One Piece, to be honest. So yeah, the second key point. Robin distracting Trey-Ball, and Trey-Ball getting angered and being on the know right now. He's in the know. First of all, Sugar is the one who informs Trey-Ball about the trap, but before that, Robin proceeds to use a clone of herself in a very detailed, advanced fashion, where the clone is significantly far away from the real Robin, if we can assume. And the clone, again, is live-like to the point where it speaks, it has emotions, it shows fear when being pursued by Trey-Ball. I mean, I was distracted. I was fooled. So, I mean, it's kind of obvious that Trey-Ball got fooled. And yeah, that part, along with the New World Pirate Captain informing Trey-Ball that there's no trouble and whatnot, and the clone vanishing, which angers the hell out of Trey-Ball to the point where he flings a ship, literally a ship, a decently sized ship, maybe not a galleon, but it's a fucking ship, at the executive tower. At the executive tower, the main fucking center of the whole underground world and the whole chapter, to be honest. Yeah. What do you guys think?
That just goes you to show that Trey-Ball cares very little about collateral damage, and did I use the word right? Collateral. Okay, whatever damage, and he just
collateral damage. Yeah, it's very correct.
He was like, I don't care whether I destroyed this pirate ship, whoever the captain may be. I don't care if I blow up half of the executive tower. I don't care if I destroy half of the pipes getting things down. But it is so important that I must protect Sugar, that I must do this. And that shows
I don't think he cared at that point. He was just angry.
I think he was angry. He actually reacted to casualties when Robin said it, so he might have some care of, collateral damage is often a way of saying civilian casualties in a nice way. So he does care, but I guess when he's angry, he just fucking throws ships at things, as you do. So,
yeah, that's
I don't know.
true.
Yeah.
That it was anger as well, but I thought that his goal, or rather order, of protecting Sugar and being her bodyguard, I think he took that way too seriously. And when he realized that Sugar was in a threat, he was like, let me better do this or Doflamingo is going to kill me if I don't protect her.
I mean, Doflamingo's not gonna kill her. He calls Doflamingo Dofi. They're pals. They're pals. They're good buddies.
Yeah.
The 3 elite executives. But, except one pal doesn't speak. Anyway, the thing is, this is my take on what you just said, Divvens. The way Sugar and Trable were portrayed together in this chapter shows that they're not really, it's not what we really thought at first, Maybe the dwarves really worded it incorrectly, where Trable is always fully protecting, Sugar, because Sugar doesn't say, help me. And Trable, when he finds out that there's an issue, he doesn't say, are you in need of help? It was simply a report where it's a trap, and he's like, fuck, I'm gonna throw a ship right now, because fuck you. That's how it went. I mean, he was just ticked off at being, tricked twice, and at the same time, for things obviously not going according to plan, because some of the Straw Hats are currently inside the underground world, the underground, location, which is like, whoa.
I just had another thought too about the the contract that Sugar made. To be fair, the executive tower is not a tower anymore. Like, how can you have an order to kill everyone in it when the tower's not even a thing? It's like just a bunch of rubble on a surface. Like, that could
Can
actually
you still go inside
Sugar.
the executive tower, though?
It depends. We don't know how destroyed it is. Like, maybe it'll collapse a little bit more by the time the next chapter comes. I don't know if having no ceiling says something's not a building anymore. Like, it could be something like that could screw with the contract. Just simply destroying the tower that was part of the contract. Everyone inside the executive tower was to be killed. Like, things like that could be Treble's anger actually ruining things more, now that I think about it. But it's an interesting act to take when the person you're meant to protect that you protect, like, when she's next to you the whole time, like every day you live, you throw a ship at where she is when you're not there. It's like, it sort of contradicts your job, but it's,
whenever someone says throw a ship, it's weird. It's weird.
Maybe he was confident enough that Sugar wouldn't get hurt. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was confident. That's what I'm saying. The guy is confident that, Sugar is good to go. She'll take care of herself. She's all good. But at the same time, in need of help. Trable is there. He's there in need of help.
Yeah.
When there is help needed. Let's talk about the beautiful, smart, intelligent Robin, showcasing one of the most awesome abilities, in my opinion. Seriously, I'm not even exaggerating. Post time skip, in this, throughout the Straw Hats. And also, taking the freaking wheel. Like, literally, it was just, she controlled the whole part, and the way she did it also, her calm, collected, I will give Trable a very, subordinate-like answer. Just like, where is that word for? I mean, I could have sworn she was working under her. Like, the way she talked and everything, it was really well executed from Robin's part. And, yeah, just speak about Robin, guys. I like Robin, and she did awesome things this chapter. So, I want to speak about Robin.
I do too, yeah. We did talk about it before when we were off topic in the first point, because we expanded on it. But
yeah, we did.
Yeah. The one thing I just want to see, it feels weird to imagine her fighting someone one-on-one, because her ability is so inherently overpowered, because all she does is bloody snap people's necks. Like, that's what she does in most of her fights. She does use, like,
she's an assassin.
Gigantesca Mano. Yeah, she's an assassin. But, like, in a straight up fight, she might have to develop some more abilities, or at least endurance, or like something. But what we've seen from her here is the versatility she has grown upon. Like, did she even see outside? Like, did she have an eye on the wall to see where the flyer was to put her head there? Because I thought she had to see her target. But if she can actually just manifest something close by like that, that is an improvement.
I was thinking of that, but at the same time, when it was swatted, it was instant. It was caught off guard, and she noticeably saw that he hit like between the eye.
Yeah. No, that's because she saw it on the outside, didn't she? Like, she saw it with a duplicated head. Yeah. I was just saying the ability that I couldn't see any way for her to actually see the spot where the fly was, so she did it through a wall. But if she's in the vicinity of something, she can put something through there.
By the way, that panel, I kind of had this thing going on in my head, but I don't know about it anymore. I don't think so. But anyway, yes, I'm just gonna.
What panel?
Where Robin is closing her eyes and thinking or observing. Actually,
I think that's using her devil fruit. Like, that's using the clone head.
At one point, I was like, "Yes, please, observation hockey." But now it's more devil fruit. It's more devil fruit.
If anyone doesn't need hockey right now, it'd be her. That's all I'd say. Just considering her ability, she's like the one that.
She already kind of showcased.
She would be like. We have the Monster 3 with it, but then her would like be the next best option, if not the best for like sensing or viewing or something like assassination.
Yeah, I mean she's observant really. Yeah. And the thing of it is, I mean, she did predict the explosion in Punk Hazard before it happened.
Oh, sure.
Which is the reason why I'm mentioning observation hockey, to be honest, because it was a small hint, but at the same time double fruit related, I think. Well, yeah. What do you think, Divvens?
Well, you guys spoke almost everything about it, but Robin is going to, whatever she's going to do, I'm sure she's going to always be there, negating Usopp's faults, and I just hope it's not going that way, where something happens to Robin and then Usopp comes into full swing power and action, because I don't want to see Robin get hurt due to Usopp, and then that's going to drop Usopp's character even a lot more for a lot of fans. And
not really a lot of fans. Every fan, any fan who has a sense, because you don't have to be a Robin fan in order to see what Usopp did was wrong. Because he's a Straw Hat, and Straw Hats help each other. They don't burden each other. Sometimes they do when Big Bad Boy Doflamingo tries to attack Nami and the rest. But now this is not Big Bad Boy Doflamingo. This is little girl Sugar.
Sugar, yeah. So I just hope that Robin doesn't end up in any awkward situation thanks to Usopp, but I think she's going to. The fact that she used her clone in such a smart way that even Treble couldn't, realize that it was a clone. I mean, for sure Treble is experienced. He's one of the four executive officers.
Is it safe to assume that he has observation hockey?
I wouldn't.
Is it safe to assume that this guy is above Vice Admiral level? When Bartolomeo is, your average.
Yeah, but Vice Admirals on the whole have devil fruits that aren't this hacked.
Scales,
like this, yeah.
Even
to
within
have
White
that
Admiral.
strength.
But his devil fruit isn't hacked. That's the thing.
But his strength that compounds it, like the strength and accuracy, like it could just be an inaccuracy. Like,
it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do. Like having a stick fruit has nothing to do with being accurate. Seriously.
No, I'm saying that's his own thing. Like, to be accurate does not mean you have to have haki. Like, people have dodged abilities in One Piece without having haki before. Like, it's not, you don't, just because you can hit a fly between the eyes doesn't mean you have haki. And you don't need to have it.
That's not why I'm mentioning that part. I'm mentioning, Treble having observation haki because he did not sense in any way, shape, or form that Robin was not the real Robin. And you would assume that if he had observation haki, he would have sensed something. Then again, in Marineford, when Absalom turned Gecko Moria invisible, Doflamingo couldn't sense him somehow. Even though we're pretty sure Doflamingo could. It would be funny if Doflamingo doesn't have observation. Anyway, basically what I'm saying is that a flaw or what's going on here?
What's your reason to say maybe it's
The reason why it could be a flaw is because it could be considered as inconsistency because Doflamingo couldn't sense Aokiji showing up in Punk Hazard, even though someone like him should have. People like Jesus Burgess don't sense. It's all assumption though because we're not sure if they have observation haki or not, but we can safely assume that's the thing. But yeah, it was, just a thought across. For all the listeners, if you didn't think about it, now you are, and it's been going on in my mind since the time skip began, and every now and then we get an example of something that always makes me say, wait, doesn't this guy probably have observation haki? Why did this happen? It always comes to my mind.
Yeah,
it always comes to my mind.
The thing with observation haki is also you need to be quicker than the other to respond and sense. I mean, if you sense, you sometimes cannot respond. And with the
you need to also awaken it, apparently.
Yeah. With the example of Doflamingo while he was attacking Smoker and he didn't sense Aokiji coming, maybe he wasn't concentrating on his observation haki because he knew he was going to kill the guy in front of him.
True.
He was concentrating. Yeah, he was concentrating on armaments and he was going to rip his
throat. I don't know, man. This guy is really powerful, and I would assume he would have some sort of sense when it comes to presence, especially someone like Aokiji, who would have a really huge breath. I'm overthinking.
That could be his weakness, because you did say before, like, he is the total package at the start of this thing. Total package, like, as well as, that's before we even factored in him having Haki, like, he is everything but Haki, and he's obviously mastered his devil fruit, it seems, to be able to, well, he's pinning down people like Cavendish.
The thing is, it also happened with someone like Jesus Burgess, who clashed with Sabo and didn't realize it was not Sabo.
Maybe you have to try it. You have to try to really sense. Like, if you have to, it's not just innate. Like, if you're in the vicinity of someone, you know what they are. You have to actually activate it. For whatever reason. Oh, I mean, like, he has. This is assuming he has observation haki. Burgess, this is. Like, he has to actually focus for, like, just a split second or 2 seconds on his opponent to see, like, get a different feeling. But it's not innate that as soon as he walks by someone, he automatically knows you're different. Like, maybe they're just not focusing on it. Like, they're just too, like, maybe he's focused too much on the Mariner me and just having fun shooting on people with his elbow. Yeah, but that's character-based thing.
Yeah, that's, and I don't see Burgess as someone who would even use observation haki properly. I see him more of the one who would use armaments haki.
Yeah.
He's more of the
everyone has a focus.
It's really, I mean, I'm
like
overthinking.
Sanji. Like, take an example of Sanji. He could sense a freaking sniper from miles away when he was with Viola, and that was Sanji's observation, because he has mastered, according to Oda, that he's the master of observation. Like, he excels at that. So maybe it's just that Doflamingo's excelling in observation isn't as
I would assume that Doflamingo has like better observation haki, to be honest. Yeah, nah, sorry. If Sanji has better observation haki than Doflamingo, I would laugh.
No. I'm not saying he has better observation haki than Doflamingo, but he can utilize it better. And while
it's the most concept thing, like it's the most basic thing.
But you need to
sensing someone.
Like,
sensing something.
Whenever Luffy uses observation.
Okay, Divvens.
You wait. Let's just
I know what you're gonna say. I mean, before you even say it, Jesus Burgess, Sabo, they clashed. They were fighting. Are you telling me throughout the whole period of time he didn't think for 1 second, as well as Diamante? If we assume they have observation haki, which I would assume they didn't use it and decided.
No,
all right,
I'm sure if they would have had it, they would have used it. So I think we may safely presume they don't. I'm not sure.
So Rebecca has it, but they don't. You know what? Let's just.
Rebecca has observation only. She doesn't. Maybe who knows that.
Burgess is going to be a master of booster hardening way over the other one.
So
he's the extreme example. Like, you could have a really basic one where it's like, oh, you're going to do a punch here, but like you can't keep it up as much as you can destroy a wall in the Colosseum with like a simple elbow. Like, it's probably just his mastering is it's tipped the scales so much in the side of COA that he just doesn't even know to use it. Like, in that circumstance, he's fighting what's in front of him because that's what he's used to. But on the treble thing, we don't even know if he has it. So, we'll see though. It's interesting. It's really interesting. We've talked about it in another podcast, this Haki thing, like what its potential uses in the future could be, and exactly what it is. Like, because Sanji's seeing something that far away, like, why can't he see something in front of him? Like Burgess, that is. Like, it's that simple, but he's not seeing it. And he's not even worrying about it. So it's just a bit confusing. And I can see where you're coming from with overthinking it.
I mean, yeah, it's just, to me, it's inconsistencies right now, but I am overthinking it, because usually a fan wouldn't think about these kind of things. It's just that I'm way too into hockey, so I don't know. But yeah, third key point turned into a hockey discussion, but it's fine. It's all good. It's sort of related to what happened, because Treble did indeed not sense Robin. I think we've covered pretty much everything in regards to the second main subpoint. And yeah, we did. After reading, we did. So yeah, that is the review of the chapter and key points. I hope you enjoyed it. We're now gonna move on to the free talk of this chapter, or just this podcast in general.
Okay, for the free talk, we're gonna talk about one discussion that has been discussed heavily on OroJackson, Skype, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, everywhere, which is, what is Fujitora going to do? Is he really going to oppose, not necessarily oppose, but I mean, is it going to happen where Fujitora stops Luffy and Zoro, including Violet? Or is he going to get interrupted somehow? So yeah, just overall Fujitora and his goal. And since Divvens has written an extremely thorough, bloody fucking plausible theory on OroJackson very recently, regarding the fate of Dressrosa and whatnot. He also spoke briefly regarding Fujitora, his temporary alliance with Doflamingo, and his goal, and how he's going to stop Luffy, everything, really. So yeah, where do you want to start? Where do you want to begin with Fujitora, Divvens?
Well, I would like to believe that Fujitora hasn't yet left the palace. I mean, the time gap between each of these things happening is quite less. The entrance of the Straw Hats and the exit of Fujitora was similarly timed. It's not like hours or stuff away, because everything is going on in the same timeline. The fight at the Colosseum, the things underground. So, I'm not sure how Fujitora is going to react to, I'm sure there would be some rumbling and something around the castle when a part of it is being crashed together and stuff. And his main goal, he said that it is going to be his justice, is going to be stopping Luffy from facing Doflamingo. And, oh my god, if Luffy runs into Fujitora, then that's the end for him at this arc. Because I don't think
Luffy won't back down.
Yeah, he's not going to back down. And Fujitora is going to destroy him after a scuffle, and Doflamingo is just going to pick him up on the platter.
Is the first official defeat of Luffy in this current arc? Because we kind of have this notion where Luffy is gonna get defeated a few times before he defeats Doflamingo. But is the first defeat is it gonna be by the hands of Fujitora?
If the first defeat is by the hands of Fujitora, then that's the end of Luffy. He's not going to return, that's for sure. I'm not.
Yeah, well point.
I mean, the last time we saw Luffy fight an admiral.
Mind you, Zoro was there, and it's gonna be Zoro and Luffy attacking. Still not enough, but
Pika is there as well. It's so against the odds of everyone in the palace.
Divvens, remember when Recoilation or Tact, I forget, we're talking about, or you, hell, I don't remember. We're talking about how Doflamingo is going to be on Pika's shoulder and whatnot.
Yeah.
What do you think about Pika just being all badass in the next few chapters? And alright, this is going to be difficult since it's his turf, and we're talking about how difficult it's going to be, and then we go to the next page, and boom, Fujitora is on his left shoulder. Pika.
Well, that would just kill Zoro and Luffy. I mean...
Thing is, it happened with Big Mom, where it was overkill. And I think it's...
But Big Mom's not going to just come out stand on the ship and do something, But Fujitora is going to break bones, and he's going to break them bad. If that happens, then the only plausible way is for Zoro and Luffy to back out of this palace and lure Pika into not his territory, that kind of place.
Or
oh, freaking hell! Isn't Dressrosa paved with bricks and stones everywhere on the ground?
All of it, yeah.
It all is.
Even the houses, by the way. So Dressrosa.
Yeah, you should have seen the anime when they had the overhead shot of Dressrosa. It just looked like a bunch of bricks. Yeah. Oh,
rock and stone. Isn't it known as the Rock Island? Even the surroundings of Dressrosa is rock-like. The natural matter. Just
holy
the
shit!
natural,
So
the rock formations, yeah.
The island is rock.
They won't be able to run away from the territory that he controls then, because then it's almost like he can follow them anywhere.
Control.
Powers, yeah.
Depends on his range and capacity to, because Luffy can't stretch forever.
Yeah.
And, so on and so forth. It depends on his range. But it would be very cool if all of a sudden, just this one big panel and this one big one-liner, I control this whole island, or something like that. And, one thing, the quote-unquote, unofficial, down the line, spoken plot device, which is, Violet somehow speaking sense into Fujitora or whatever. What do you guys think of that?
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
You think that's I think
I forgot the part. Well, how did Fujitora? There wasn't it the Straw Hats escaped in your theory, and then Fujitora saw Big Mom and had the thing there, so that occupied him a bit, and then he went on his way.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna be that simple that he would just let them escape. I think if he wanted to, they'd just be caught now. Right now, he would just go up and catch them. So it's he's gonna have an altercation with someone.
The thing is,
logically, looking at the pieces in play, who can stop him? No one can stop him physically, but who has the power to show? At the very least, Viola's going to distract him or take his
One issue.
That's what I think will happen. Go on.
I do understand where you're coming from, actually, but there is one issue that needs to be addressed. So we're talking Violet stopping Fujitora verbally. The problem is Fujitora already stated that he's gonna he's gonna disregard whatever wrongs this country has had so far.
Yeah. So
and he already knows, though. He already knows everything.
Exactly.
Almost.
He knows Joker. He knows everything, and he's just going to ignore everything for now. So Viola, even if she shows him the truth, speaks to him.
What if she knows something that we don't know?
Yeah, you don't know what she actually knows or what she can reveal. So he might not. He knows there's shady shit going down, but he doesn't know the in-depth details like that.
Okay. That's one. What if Viola knows the threat that Aokiji spoke about, the threat that Doflamingo poses to the marine?
The seventh Shishibukai or something, just something that we don't know. She's gonna say
the threat he poses to Kaido if his fruits are in fact manipulatable. Things like that. There's a lot of things that he could be connected to that are potentially dangerous, and I don't know. I like the theory.
One question.
I thought it was great, but you're going.
One question. Can Violet read minds from far away, or does she have to touch the person
I think she has to be
with
close.
the eye thing, the mind's eye, and only then can read someone's mind?
I think she has to be close proximity.
Okay, so I was wondering if she's read
Doflamingo's mind, or one of Doflamingo's high subordinates' mind,
No,
or
I think Doflamingo trusted her enough in 10 years. I mean, he trusted her enough to
didn't he say
Straw Hat.
But he expected her to rebel. Didn't he say that?
Yeah, he expected her to rebel, but
he was fighting law.
He said that this is the worst time it could happen. Something like that.
Yeah. I don't see why Doflamingo would let her read his mind, though. I mean,
I don't know why they'd let Viola take care of Sanji if they thought she was going to rebel. That's the annoying thing for me. Like, just take care of Nami or something. But it's like, it's just that out of everything going on right now, Viola is the weirdest piece to factor in, like, predict what she's going to be.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's interesting. Like, she has to have some use. That's why.
What if Doflamingo is playing his cards right? Pun intended. And what if he is actually letting Viola on information, like how when Robin was with Baroque Work, she leaked information and led on Vivi.
Hey, are you about to tell me Viola is going to be Nakama?
I don't know, but what if Doflamingo is giving hints and leaving breadcrumbs for Viola purposely so that Viola can reveal it and it can just cause even more hoo-ha and stuff.
Why would he do that?
It's his ego. He wants it to be known. He's not the silent type. He's Joker. He's the flamboyant pink flamingo.
So he's not doing it out of necessity. He's doing it out of arrogance compared to Crocodile, who just revealed everything. He didn't really. He was arrogant, but he wasn't revealing things for the sake of it. He was doing it because he had a goal.
And
so
he knew
that'd be another difference.
He knew that he was going to win, even though he didn't. So,
yeah.
Telling Vivi everything, telling Luffy, telling Smoker.
Yeah, that's when he started getting cocky.
Yeah, when they were in jail, and Vivi was just sitting, eating, while Crocodile was chilling and talking.
Yeah.
Violet, she's a big factor. I do see her being a defensive factor, where she could be used as a plot device to help drop the Straw Hats, really, because they're in need of help. And although you know what, I don't care about anything about what we said so far. I just want to see a panel with Pika just chilling and Fujitori's on Pika's shoulder. I just want to see that. Yo, Cam, can you draw that for me, please?
Oh, mate, it's coming right up.
All right, man, cool. Then, moral of the story: Fujitora on Pika's shoulder. Are we good with that, guys?
Yeah, okay.
It'll be weird, but I'll draw it.
Pika.
I guess.
It's a weird concept, I'm not gonna lie.
It's fine. It's One Piece. It's supposed to be weird. We love it.
Okay.
Good luck. Just whatever. Anyway, so yeah, that's it for the key point. Not key point. We finished that earlier. That is it for the free talk / discussion segment. It was quick, it was brief, it was fun, so it was all good. Now we're going to move on to the final thoughts of this chapter, which are going to be difficult because, despite us saying we loved this chapter, it's still, let me just not get into it and just move on to the final thoughts. Starting with, Brennan here. Let's go.
Thank you, Booth. I will start off with point 1, which was Robin stops the drawers, where she noticed the fly getting taken out right between the eyes and used her ability to see that, and also stopped the plan and obviously came up with another one of hers. This part was brief. It was brief, but it was good. It's not much of a part. I really like Robin, and I thought this ability was cool. And it's just a good little part. I won't give it more than that. This chapter is, as it's a progression chapter, it's hard to rate, cause in other chapters there's 3 different things going on and all of them are at different points. But this one's just the same point and little bits of it. But I'd give it a good. The second part about the synthetic devil fruit creating Smile Factory, I couldn't really get emotionally invested in this for some reason. Normally when you have people suffering, you just at least feel somewhat bad. I still do feel bad, but they're just, when the reason you feel is because of you're gullible, it's you just can't help it if you're just gullible. It's just annoying. It's just really annoying that they're getting fooled this easily all over the place. But anyway, it was cool to see we actually got to see where it's been grown finally, like where the fruits are coming from. Like we haven't seen that yet. That's a big sort of reveal. And we got to see a lot of the aesthetics of how things are planned, like the roof, the river, how there's massive trees, and how you can actually screw it up so there's only half a fruit done. Like it doesn't go perfectly. It's a hard process, and it seems only the Tontatas can actually do it at this point. Like Caesar can only create it, Tontatas can only make it, creates SAD, sorry, and the Tontatas can only make it into a fruit. So it's a very tricky process, and it's awesome to go and see all that, but screw science, it's One Piece, so I'll just say it was good. As well as that, the guy that was manipulating them, just a generic bad guy. I couldn't really get into it. They're just so gullible. Stop being dumb. I wish the dwarves were smarter, but obviously they care a lot about their princess, who I'm wondering where she is. She's probably not working on it. If she's just been kept captive, like in a jail cell, it'd be pretty brutal. But they've all lived in pretty bad conditions, so I'll give this part a good. I thought it was, I liked it, but I thought it was just good. And the third part, which has 2 subpoints, we have the Robin, the Sugar, the Treble. Now, I'm gonna just start off and say, I'll probably group this as one thing rather than 3 different things, but I'll start off with Robin, again, like just her clone, her trickery of an executive of Doflamingo, a high executive, whatever the fuck, of Doflamingo, tricking him, enraging him at the end, and just being a general badass. Like, she came up with that plan on the spot. It is an effective plan. But Usopp sort of screwed up by sparing on the dwarves who got turned into toys to take on Sugar, just head on. Like, if maybe they kept up with their plan, or if perhaps, they did something different, like Usopp actually took action. Oh, that's blasphemy, but, like, if he actually tried and shot it into her mouth, like, in the confusion, like, maybe they just went along with the normal plan then, instead of just charging and announcing what they were doing. It might have gone differently, but anyway, Robin's trying her best. That's all we could assume from this, and she's doing it really well. I'm impressed with her. I hope we do see some fighting abilities from her, if needed. Hopefully not against Treble, because I think she'll be murdered. I do hope she fights, or at least has to struggle with someone, and is not simply recon information and trickery. But I love Robin, so that was good. Treble himself, fantastic panels again with he's always just quirky and has weird facial like expressions in the panels where he's like, because of his devil fruit, he's like zoning in and out of like normal existence, and he's like turning into weird, like a semi-Logia sort of thing. His extreme speed, as like what happened before, he has great hand-eye coordination. And he has amazing strength. He picked up a fucking ship and threw it at a tower. Whether it was completely premeditated, well, not premeditated, maybe it's something he's thought about doing that's not right, or he's just angry, but he trusts Sugar won't get hurt. That remains to be seen, but nonetheless, he threw a ship at a tower in a small time frame. And it was badass. Like, it made him seem a lot more threatening, a lot more scary. It's not just a sticky fruit where it's like, if he catches you, you're stuck there. It's like a fruit that he can use with his power to fling things like elastics. It's just awesome. It's good that he's been seen as more of a threat, because I personally always saw him as like just a special ops guy, like not special ops, sorry, special abilities guy, where his ability was, he was an executive because he's strong, but he's also because he's really useful in tandem with Sugar, in that they just create the toys and keep the harmony going on down there. But he himself is just as strong, if not more potentially, than the other two, because from what we're seeing right now, Pika seems strong. Diamante has unlucky opponents, to be fair, to test himself, but he's just been strong, and that was good. And the final point of those 3 characters is Sugar, and I love Sugar. She is an awesome character so far, and it's great to see her. She can back up, like, she's not just someone to be protected. She is someone that can fight, hold her own against people that are touted for their speed. And the fact that she did that and did it in such a badass way, because the panels are awesome, and I'm probably going to personally color 2 of them from that chapter. It just was awesome. Like, it was refreshing to see. We were speculating how it was going to screw up, how the plan to knock out Sugar was going to fail, and we all knew it was going to fail. It actually failed extremely horribly so far. Like, as nothing's gone right. It sort of went right. I guess the tower getting destroyed is not the worst thing to achieve, but it's gone wrong, and they're in a very awkward position right now. Like, they couldn't be in a worse position, really, considering half the Tontatas are now basically toys. Treble's angry and is aware, and Sugar seems to have kept herself safe. So it's good. Overall, I would give that part a awesome. So that's good. I would give it a great, this chapter. A low grade, but I'll give it a great because it was good for what it was, but especially the part on showcasing the individuals in the chapter was amazing. And, I was just really happy to see more character building, especially for Robin. And hopefully this is a wake-up call for Oda not a wake-up call, but hopefully it's a hint that Usopp's character building, if any, will come soon. So I'll rate it a great overall. And next to give his thoughts on the chapter, his review is Sammy.
All right, thank you, Cam. Okay, for this chapter, I'm just gonna kind of combine some parts together because if I don't, it's gonna just seem odd for me to rate them on their own. So, for example, the first key point, Robin stopping the dwarves and whatnot, I'm gonna combine it with the third key point, sort of. So basically, Robin noticing Treble's coordination and stopping the dwarves and proceeding to telling Leo that he's not good enough, simply, and that if Treble is there, the plan won't proceed, was really, really nice of her. I liked that part a lot. I thought that Robin was just, she gave a lot of pressure, towards, without her, this would have been a circus show. Like, it would have been so chaotic, and it's already so chaotic. I mean, ships flying and stuff. Well, I'm just gonna move on because, I mean, it cannot get more chaotic than this, but it's just that it kind of feels maintained due to Robin's existence. For that reason, along with, of course, Sugar, doing her thing and Robin, I'll give that part as a whole, literally the first and third key points as a whole, I will give it a great or amazing. Let's just go for great for now. So I'm going to give it a great. I will come back to it, by the way. And the second key point, as far as the Devil Fruit Factory, the Smile Factory, and how they are being artificially made, while the dwarves are being so obviously manipulated and just, it's pathetic to a certain degree how gullible they are. But it's their quirk, so we just, quirks are there because they're there, and that's how One Piece works. But yeah, I mean, just, I liked how, Cam mentioned, Recoilation mentioned how he wasn't really into this part because he wasn't emotionally invested in the despair of the dwarves, if you will, them being just abused both mentally and physically, mentally by being manipulated and physically by being enslaved, to be honest. And also given Ronin fucking food for some reason. Seriously, just give him Doflamingo. Dude, just fish that is normal, please, dude. It's One Piece Islands, just fish, one fish, please, good God. Anyway, just that scenario as a whole, them being manipulated. It was cool to see because we're finally, first of all, seeing the factory. We have witnessed the factory's structure, the trees with the devil fruits being grown, and the river / tank which has liquid, which we could assume is the source of the SAD. And how it kind of changed our concept of how the SAD process is, from something very simple to something sort of scientific, even though Oda is not going to go all scientific on it. He's going to have a really simple explanation, so his demographic can get into it and move on, and it's not going to be anything special. But at the same time, the concept is going to be scientific. I'm pretty sure, since, scientists have, worked on it. Vegapunk and Caesar Clown. And, dwarves are the one who are, they're the labor, basically. That's the best way to put it. Overall, that part gets a good from me. I liked it. I did. I mean, the panel with the small factor is beautiful. I really liked it. Cam, you can draw it, you can color it as well if you don't mind. Yeah, just saying. And I just kind of, there was this sort of myth where, like, people always forget that the dwarves work under, Doflamingo. And, like, they're always reminded. Even me sometimes. I just kind of sway away and then remember, hey, no, the dwarves work under Doflamingo. Totally forgot about that. But now we've seen it. It's a fact. It's there. We've seen how they're being manipulated, which is still, I reiterate, pathetic, but, you just, gullible. What can I say? But yeah, good plus, sort of, if that works, because it was near great, but at the same time, nothing too eventful. So yeah, just good plus, whatever. And as far as Sugar and Robin doing their thing, Sugar, first of all, very confident, very calm, very collective. I like that about her a lot. And the way she was speaking was extremely, dare I say, intimidating. I mean, hell, she's this faceless expression that she was rocking throughout the whole conversation and confrontation between the dwarves, and how she realized that they were there before they even actually showed up. She kind of just went by and said, "Oh, who's here?" And then looked back and saw the rubble and all, from them talking and walking. But yeah, just what she did and how confident she was, and her showcase of her ability was, because we always said one thing, which was, oh, how overpowered this girl can be if she had combat prowess, where she could actually fight. Because we always thought that it was kind of, she's just there to touch people. Oh, that sounded wrong. Fucking hell. Just to turn people into toys by touching them. And just, that's her thing. Give contracts, move on, trable sticks. Oh, that sounds even, these two can have so many bad jokes if you guys just so feel, if you want to do that, just go ahead. Anyway, she's not that simple. She turns dwarves into bears by just a blink of an eye, and she gives them the contract, if you will, instantly. The second they're turned, she just speaks the contract. The contract is there, and that's it. It's boom. It's written. It's ironclad. It's fact, and I like that. I also liked how fast she reacted. It was cool. And overall, that main sub point gets a great for me. Yeah, sure, great, why not? And Robin's part was just fucking beautiful. I mean, Cam likes the Sugar part more, but I was just more into Robin X Treyball at the moment. It's a thing. It's gonna happen. Get over it, guys. I'm sorry, Sengoku. I don't mean to, man. It's just, it's a joke. Chill, dude. Probably gonna get hate PMs from him now. Anyway, first of all, Treyball, dude, you need to relax. I know you've been tricked. You are currently under a lot of pressure because you're not really close to Sugar and you're supposed to protect her, but at the same time she can protect herself, but still it's there where this girl needs protection now, and all is on the line, literally, because, not literally, but it's really on the line because, think about it, if Sugar is knocked out, shit goes downhill for Doflamingo. It's way more important than some people may think. And simply put, Straw Hats are in the underground world, and that really fucked him over. Like, just that concept of this is a Straw Hat really pissed him off, and it resulted in a ship being flung towards the executive tower, not towards, on, like literally on it, above it, over it. It was thrown on a friggin' 80-degree angle, and it was like a basketball shot, man. It was all net. Didn't touch any hoops. It was all net. Straight in the center, and it was beautiful. I like that panel a lot. And as far as Robin, she was Robin, to be honest. Robin has always impressed me. She's one of my favorite female characters and one of my favorite characters of all time in One Piece. And she's always been impressive. I like her a lot, and the way she handled herself and the situation was very impressive, and how she kind of improvised on the spot and pulled it off despite Usopp's incompetence. But you know what, you gotta live with it. And yeah, I mean, overall, this part gets a grade as well. So overall, it's just a full-on grade. Perhaps, don't know, change my mind and give it a good with the unbiased opinion. I'm gonna have to think about it for a very short period of time, and I'll see where it goes. But yeah, overall great. Maybe good in the unbiased. We'll see about it. And now, Divvens, take it from here.
Thank you, Sammy. For my final thoughts of the chapter, I think the two before me have put it like great. I would just copy their words and say it as well. Starting from the key points, the Robin stopping the dwarfs in special, Robin stopping Leo from going ahead with the plan which he had, which was to drop the spicy grapes or whatever that was. I can't pronounce the name of that spice for the love of God, but Treble, a fly, he just used his power on a fly and made him smash on the tower, and the tower actually got impacted and damaged as well. And I was just like, really? Is that guy using that much force on a fly? I know it was to show his power, just simple flick can cause that, but to kill a fly and to damage the tower, that's kind of extreme, Treble. You need to tone it down a bit. I mean, you don't want to be damaging your own buildings and stuff, and then having to repair it over and over again just for flies, you know. And Robin actually noticing that and then popping her head out there to investigate further, that means that she could somehow keep up with the speed of what Treble did. If not 100%, she could at least keep up with 80% of the speed. And that's quite great to know that Robin has improved in her observation. I mean, she's always the most observant one, but now she's noticing things, and she stopped Leo from going any further, or else Leo would be killed. And this part was really a small introduction to the whole big chapter, and I would give it a good, because not much happened except us knowing that Robin is a badass, as she always has been. The synthetic devil fruit creating Smile Factory. We all knew it was going to be something evil. I mean, it has had that evil aura all over it, but the fact that we saw it, and the fact that it brings up so many questions as to how is this sad used in production of the smile, how exactly are they growing, and every 1 in 10 fruits is actually a proper smile, and the dwarves are being made to work tirelessly, being given rotten food. And I said this earlier, but if Doflamingo had business plans, if he was thinking like a true businessman, to totally make money and have a lot of production, I think he should at least keep them well fed with proper food, well rested, and that would double your production, because happy workers, especially the Tontara workers, whom you can just lie to and they would just believe anything. You take care of them properly, and then you tell them any lie and they'll believe you even more. So I don't know why Doflamingo isn't using that approach, but I guess this is to just show how more evil he is. I really think that's a bad decision from Doflamingo's side to make his business work this way, but let's see how it goes. And of course, the dwarves being manipulative, this has been hinted from the time where they easily just fell for Robin's. She wasn't lying, but they just fell for whatever she said, and then they fell for Usopp's lie. So we knew that they could be lied and manipulated very easily. So this part gets another good from me because it didn't do much. We all knew that this Smile Factory was going to be something evil. It was going to be something kind of dark, and we knew they were being worked as slaves there. So we didn't expect it to be all rosy and nice, and it wasn't a big of a surprise seeing the factory. I mean, it is a bit surprising that there's an artificial sun and stuff down, but that's due to the skills of the Tontara, not Doflamingo or his workers. So this part gets a good from me. The struggle begins. Robin distracts Treble and the dwarfs attack Sugar. This was the main meat of the chapter, and this is what made the chapter good for many. I mean, if we were continued with the pace it started with, I'm sure a lot more fans would be disappointed. We already have quite a handful of fans that are disappointed by this chapter, and I don't blame them. Most are disappointed by Usopp. But the second half of the chapter really makes up for it, and I would give this part an amazing, because this one part included Sugar and Robin and Treble, and it also included Usopp, but yeah, my point being that we saw Sugar being the badass she is, we saw Treble being the badass she is, we saw Robin being the smart and the, coming up with ideas at the shift of a second, and, she's being awesome and actually doing something, to help the Tontara tribe, rather than just letting them go and sacrifice themselves and fight each other and stuff, like a certain someone with a long nose is doing. But overall, I think, even though my dislike for Usopp is strong in this chapter, he will make up and he will, redeem himself, but it's getting repetitive to the point where I'm starting to dislike his character each and every time something like this happens. He needs to grow up. He needs to understand that he shouldn't be putting other people into problems. That's not how Straw Hats do work. Every other Straw Hat, they take it on themselves. They don't let others get sacrificed for themselves. But Usopp is the black sheep in that certain aspect. So let's hope for his improvement. And overall, this chapter gets a good from me. And I think this is the first chapter. No, okay, this isn't the first chapter getting a good from me, but this overall, this gets a good from me, and that's my final thoughts on this chapter.
All right. We're gonna move on to the unbiased final thoughts, which are probably gonna be. I've come to a conclusion, by the way, guys. It's gonna be quick, easy. I'm gonna give it a good. Kind of for the same reasons that Divvens said at the end, and really it's self-explanatory. So yeah, Cam.
Unbiased, I'd give it a good, a good plus, pretty much.
Divvens?
I would also stick with good. Yeah, it's the same. So I'll be sticking with good for all the reasons I said just a couple of minutes back.
All right, so that is it for our final thoughts of this chapter, and including our ratings and all. We're gonna move on to the Q&A segment now, which starts with Malcy's question. He asks, do you guys think it will be an Usopp versus Sugar / Robin versus Treble fight, or will Oda surprise us? Let me repeat that because, it has a lot of names. Do you guys think it will be a Usopp versus Sugar / Robin versus Treble fight, or will Oda surprise us? First of all, I agree with the first part. Usopp versus Sugar. I think it's how Zoro fights the swordsman and Sanji fights the martial artist or the hand-to-hand guy.
Usopp fights the girl.
Usopp fights the very little poor girls. Yeah, that's really.
Oh, Usopp.
You know what? So yeah, Divvens, you agree that Usopp fights little girls as well, right?
Well, he has been shown to be the strongest against little girls. He has fought other opponents, but he was so bold and stuff with Perona, and he was so confident first when he heard that Sugar was a young girl. So that's his speciality, you know. He's got
as far as Usopp and Sugar are concerned, they are more or less gonna fight. And as far as Robin and Treyball, though, no, sorry, I'm not even gonna give you a perhaps. I'm not even gonna give you a maybe. This girl, this beautiful, intelligent, smart woman, is not ready for a guy who rivals the power of someone who is currently in the ring with Sabo and Jesus Burgers, and another one who is currently fighting both Doflamingo. Oh, well, no. Fighting both Luffy and Zoro.
Yeah.
And not to mention, by the way, guys, just a reminder. You know, it's a reminder. Punk Hazard, Virgo, cracking Sanji's leg.
I was just going to say that Virgo. Yeah, Virgo. He stood up against Sanji. He stood up against and defeated Vice Admiral Smoker. Law was the only one able to stop him. So Virgo is also on the same level as Treble. And oh my God, imagine somebody saying, "Oh, Robin is going to defeat Virgo." They would get
imagine somebody saying that, huh?
They would be slapped in their face with how he's strong as Virgo's. That's what was going to happen.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. So yeah, I think that asks your question. And sorry for coughing. You did say, or will Oda surprise us? In what way though? Is he going to surprise us with Treble being taken out somehow by someone else or a plot device, or is he going to surprise us with Treble being the winner? Like, what do you guys think? Well, this kind of, depending on what you guys answer, Cam, Div, is probably going to be the results of and conclusion of this part of the chapter, this part of the arc. So, yeah, I don't know what to say at the moment, so I'll just leave you guys for it.
I have this little, I don't know if it's going to sound silly or if it's going to sound stupid or maybe it ends up happening, but from what I'm seeing now is that the dwarfs are fighting each other inside where Sugar is. Leo still has that spiced grapes, and when Sugar dropped the grapes down, she didn't drop all of them. There's still some in her basket. Like, some fell out, but some are still in that whatever she was holding. Can you call it a basket? Whatever. So
yeah, it's a basket. It's a basket.
She was holding.
It's a fridge.
The way it fell, there's a reason it fell that way, and I feel that Leo is going to somehow end up dropping the spiced grape inside the basket. All of them are going to, keep fighting or get turned into toys or get beaten close to death. Treble is going to capture Robin and Usopp both, and Sugar is going to turn them to toys as well. But after, when everything is under control, Sugar is going to lift up the basket again, and then she's going to eat the spiced one and get knocked out, you know?
Like, after it was done, she's just walking away, and all of a sudden...
Yeah, she's knocked out. And after that, all the toys regain consciousness, and it is Treble against all the big names in the underground as toys, like Cavendish, what's his name? Boo, Sao, Sai, everyone.
But don't you guys think that it's weird for Oda to interrupt Usopp's fight like that? Where Treble...
That's true, but Treble is meant for interfering, isn't he? He's the bodyguard.
Yeah, he's the bodyguard. And Robin can't handle that bodyguard alone. Oh my! Robin, the thing is, she seems so calm and sure of what she seems always like she's 3 steps ahead. Not 2, not 1, 3 steps ahead of everyone when it comes to tactics and strategy. But is tactics going to help out with someone such as
Treble, who's ready to pick up ships and smash?
That's a huge question. And like, the guy fucking threw a ship, as you said, like, if there are more tactics, what do? You take the 2 other ships and throw them. That's what I would do.
You throw all the ships at them.
Destroy the fucking factory as well while you're at it. Imagine if he's the cause of destroying the factory by the end of it.
That would be too convenient, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do see something like, because the loss of Usopp and Robin is imminent. It's going to happen. But Sugar getting knocked out after, and then Treble having to face everyone, take on everyone. It's just going to show his true power. Like, I'm sure everyone there below, it's the same as Diamante taking on Sabo and Burgess, and Pika taking on Zoro and Luffy, and then Treble is just taking on everyone there in the...
Yeah.
It suits the big scale thing which we have seen of the others.
Indeed. It's kind of the big three, no pun intended really, the big three are kind of howling more than they should be howling at the moment, you know. Zoro and Luffy for Pika, Sabo, Burgess, and Bartolomeo for Diamante, and everything and everyone. And just annoyance, these dwarves, and Usopp and his lies, and hiding, and Robin and her tactics, and the guy is pissed off for a reason. I'm just saying. But yeah, I hope that answers your question, Mousy. We're gonna move on to Seiken's question. Basically he's talking about how, Treble's Devil Fruit looks like, it's, an area of effect Devil Fruit. Which, sure, okay. But he asks, how far can it reach? Just an estimate. That's his question, sort of. That's basically what he's trying to go for. Like, what kind of reach does it have? First of all, we now know for a fact that he, can't believe I'm gonna say that, shot his sticky web into the ship from a quite far distance and managed to, it's strong enough where it withstood the weight of the ship as well as his strength and threw it. So not only length and reach, but durability. So yeah, what do you guys think about the whole thing though?
An estimate on how far it goes, it seems a little bit trivial. Like, looking at how the width of the area they're in now, I'd assume it could at least reach that far, to say the least. But I'm not sure. The AoE part's confusing. I think it just means, does it mean how far I can spread on the ground as well? I don't know.
Yeah, kind of like how
Aokiji
spreads his ice all around.
Oh yeah, but he does it with water most of the time. I'm thinking, like, do you know how he has the table where Cavendish is on and it's sticky? Can he, like, just put sticky material in, like, a whole huge area? Because that would be really strong in that AoE sense where everyone's held down. But I don't know, it's a little bit trivial if it's how long can he reach, like with the shot to the fly.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, to answer your question in a different way. Well, actually, before I answer your question, because I spoke about it, Div has spoke the least. Well, did you have anything, Div?
I think I read Saiken's message on the Q&A post, and after that I looked into that exact page even more, where he like slingshots himself. And if you notice, whatever the shape is, the jump shape which he makes, if you look at where it goes on top, there's this thing, one of the pipes or some construction material on top. It's on page 16 on Power Manga. It feels like he jumped there, he stuck on that thing for a brief period, and then slung himself again down towards where he was.
Definitely, yeah. By the way, speaking of which, Divvens, why the hell is he so fast with his sticky fruit?
Maybe he has mastered it. I mean, for sure.
No, but I mean, where does speed come into play when it comes to stickiness? It's just, you'd think that would make him slow because he's stuck to things. The guy turns into his sticky form, and then
maybe the
bam!
sticky matter itself is actually weighs less than him or something like that. Because maybe he's just fast himself, but the sticky matter he sort of metamorphoses into could just lighten him as well for like brief periods of time before it sticks with like whatever it comes in contact with. But that would mean it could go very far, which I guess is what he's asking.
Well,
It's like a catapult, how he does it. He catapults himself around.
Yeah. He's using it to his, like, I can ask you the same question. Where does rubber and speed come in?
Where does whose speed go into play?
Where does rubber and speed come into play? But
yeah, true. I mean,
Luffy has trained in speed through his train. It's just natural that once you keep on fighting and improving, your speed itself improves. So I don't think it's much of his devil fruit, but his own skills that he's using it.
Of course. I mean, no. It's just the method where he does it. Like, if you look at the panel where, the panel where he shows up in front of the pirates.
Yeah.
He basically, as Cam said, if you look at the trajectory of when he says when Robin says those pirates have been running wild and we're simply unable to do anything about it, and he starts morphing into his, sticky, form, he literally just catapults himself into where they are, like, straight away.
But I think he did use one
his
of
speed.
No. He stuck on one of those things for just a minute of a second and then projectiled himself to land right next to the pirates. So I think it's like how Luffy stretches, catches onto something and then bounces more, He just uses that to his advantage. So that is what I'm presuming this guy is doing, because he isn't Logia. We know Logia can just warp here and there with their substance. Kizaru does that. Kainu can do that. Just flow here and there. But this guy, if he's Logia, then there's 0% chance that Robin and Usopp can win. Just 0. It's gone to 0. So.
And there's no way that he's Logia.
He's going to be at most a Paramecia. So I feel that he's using the fruit just the way Luffy uses, improvising around with his surroundings.
Kind of like how, when I mention the string fruit, would it make sense if I tell you that someone is going to be able to fly with the string fruit?
He does already, doesn't he?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like hypothetically speaking.
He's saying, like, when you think of a fruit,
Yeah, when you think of a concept of a fruit like a string fruit, and before you see Doflamingo flying, I tell you, with this fruit, you're going to be able to fly. You're going to say that's impossible. Like, what?
Yeah.
Strings? Are you going to make wings out of strings? But there is a way where he did it, and it's a logical way. So basically, it's a method where it's just a method where he enhances his speed in bursts, if you will.
Yeah, I get your point. Yeah.
But that should answer your question. We kind of moved on from reach to speed, but because it's just kind of, reach is already kind of, I don't want to say irrelevant, but at the same time.
No, but technically each devil fruit has an area of effect. Everything has its limitations, so it's obviously an area of effect, but it depends on how he uses it. I'm sure he can't just catapult everywhere, anywhere. He has to have a source where he can stick and then projectile himself towards some area.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Seiken. Fucking Marimu. But anyway, let's move on to Tact's question. And he says, it's quite clear at this point that the Straw Hats need help. They were always outnumbered to begin with, crew of 9 versus crew of 13. And now the situation is even worse, considering how Fujitora, Big Mom, and the lack of presence of Usopp, if you will, and him being a burden, to be honest. I mean, he's probably gonna redeem himself next chapter or so, but anyway. Okay, so Tact asks, it's quite clear at this point, that the Straw Hats need help. They were always outnumbered to begin with, crew of 9 versus crew of 13. And now the situation is even worse, considering how Fujitora is in, Big Mom and her ship and all that, and Usopp being a burden, even though he's kind of gonna redeem himself later on. But anyway, where do you think they'll get some help from? Or is Robin's way of handling things,
smart plannings and strategies, a sign of things to come.
Well, we've sort of touched on where they're going to get help from with multiple. Like we've said, all of us have said it in some way, but we've said they're not going to do it themselves. They're going to themselves turn Sugar back to turn Sugar unconscious and make all the toys come back, and then the toys will help them with Treble. Is that way? Is this part of that? This is part of this question, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I mean, he just generalizes everything as regards to how are the Straw Hats going to be capable of fulfilling their objectives, and how they're lacking in number and sort of in power as well.
Yeah, I can see just the main turning point. That's probably obvious to all of us is the toys being turned back into humans, because we don't even know before we got to the island who is turned into a toy. There could be some people that are strong that we don't even know about that have been turned into a toy from other countries, similar to the Colosseum fight now.
Mm-hmm.
Like who's to say this is not the first time it's happened? So it just could be an overwhelming amount of numbers of good power versus a select number of strong. And eventually the select number of strong, just even if it's a generic executive.
Wouldn't it be too convenient though? Like, Oda isn't the kind of guy who gives the Straw Hats so much help to the point where, alright, here's an array of motherfuckers that can help you.
He doesn't normally make half the crew to sail off to another island either, so there's not things that are common going on in this arc. Like,
True.
He's already not halved, but he's already reduced the numbers of the crew, so it's pretty much saying no fighting is going to go on if we go on standard logic. But if we use what he's foreshadowed and hyped since the start is the toy concept and like what's going to happen when to everything, to the citizens and like their relationships they remember, the people that are turned back and like what they're vengeful. The new people we just seen that were recently turned, like we know a lot more about, and like we sort of know how they'll react, especially Cavendish. He might turn from hating the supernovas to hating the Chichibukai because of this, like some stupid crap like that. Like he could, like it's convenient because it's not the Straw Hats fighting them, which is what we want to see. We want to see the Straw Hats one-on-one.
I mean, if Chin Zhao is in the house, then it's all over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, things like just Cavendish would definitely give Treble some sort of fight, you can assume. So it's like,
definitely.
It's convenient, but it's been foreshadowed, and it would make sense. And I wouldn't like to see too much fighting from randoms though. I'd like them to help, but I'd rather the Straw Hats, of course, get all the focus if possible. As much focus as possible.
I hope it's not like random fodder where they help, where they're just holding cannons and whatnot. I hope it's like someone emphasized where it's like maybe Chin Zhao or Cavendish or...
I think those two in particular, and like Hack will help with like Koala or something. Like everyone has a place, but it won't be a big like...
Oh, revolutionaries.
That's true too.
Yeah, Divvens, what do you think?
Yeah, I think as well that they're outnumbered severely, facing that, taking the fact into account that half of their force isn't even on Dressrosa. I mean, Sanji is missing, and he's one of the monster trio, so they're missing a lot of firepower. They have less of brute force, but that would make up once the toys come back to their human forms. But that has to happen first. And I think once that happens, they would turn the tides around. They would be the one who would outnumber. They would be the one who are much stronger in numbers and much stronger with like skilled and really known people. Because as Cam said, we're not sure about who exactly has been turned into toys, when, why, from how powerful they are. For all we know, they could be like the best fighters of their countries and stuff. But for that, they need to be first turned out from being toys, and Sugar needs to be defeated. So that's my take on it. That if they're not going to back out, then they need the support of the toys who turn back to humans.
So we're all of us, the three of us, are agreeing that the Straw Hats and Dressrosa at the moment are not enough for, for example, defeating Treble, Sugar, getting all the toys back and back into human form, and Fujitora being stopped, Doflamingo being defeated, God forbid defeated, while Fujitoro's being stopped, Pika being bypassed, Diamante is being handled by very formidable foes, so I don't forget about that. But okay, we kind of talked about how they're gonna how it might turn out with the underground scenario. But how do you think what's gonna happen with? Oh, we already talked about Luffy and Zoro, where they kind of escape and or Violet does something. So yeah, that kind of answers it. But do you want to add anything regarding that? Do you remember anything that you wanted to talk about or anything?
Not really anything.
Not particularly.
Okay, all right. Fair enough, because since I don't know what to say about that. I mean, we kind of in the free talk talked about the Fujitoro part, and we already know that Diamante is being handled by third party, Sabo and Jesus Burgess. I don't as well as Bartolomeo and Rebecca, but you know what? Yeah, okay. So we're gonna move on to the. Well, first of all, I hope that answered your question, Tact, and. Yeah, Sengoku asks, do you think that Robin will have more impact or will this be it? Yes, she will have more impact because the thing is, she's done one thing so far. Literally, one thing. A bundle of things, but in one chapter where she distracts, a certain individual, saves the whole fucking plan, or saves the whole situation, because if the dwarves would have went, it would have been just a slaughterhouse. And also, the outcome of the situation, it forces her to have some sort of impact in order to fucking survive, in order to live, because she's now being, safe to say, pursued by an enraged stray ball. So that's enough. Yeah, but yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think she'll have more impact. She only just had a chapter, not dedicated to her, but dedicated to her doing things of importance. Like she said things, she's gone along with things, but finally we got a chapter of her doing something, and I think it won't stop yet. She's going to be involved in the whole business going on now until either they're captured or, God forbid, they win one-on-one or something. But she's going to have more of a role, and I think this is a good place for her to shine because Doflamingo's style of things is very strategical, manipulative, and normal plans don't work against him. Even Law, coming up with his best plans, is still being bested by him. But Robin is very smart, and in this situation, if you want anyone on your side that can turn the tides, it would be Robin. At least turn the tides as much in your favour as possible. And I trust that she'll have more of a role to play, and I hope the focus isn't mainly on Usopp from here on to do something, because I'd rather it be split, or at least as long as Usopp doesn't suck as well, but yeah. I think she will have more of an impact.
By the way, do you guys think the next chapter is going to encompass the underground world? The underground scenario?
At least 2 or 3 pages, yeah.
Maybe.
Fair enough, Div.
I think we're going to see a change of pace. Up until now in Dressrosa we have seen bits of this, bits of that, bits of, it's in bits.
But there is no way
And
we're going to see 2.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're going to see 2 consecutive chapters of the Underground, but I think we got 1 chapter dedicated to the Underground, and we are going to see 1 chapter dedicated to something else next.
Oh, that would be beautiful, because imagine how this part, Underground World, became so exciting for being focused heavily in 1 chapter. Imagine the other parts being focused.
Exactly.
That would be even better, which would be really nice.
So I think that
I don't know about the Frankie part though, getting a whole chapter. That'd be interesting.
It could probably end the whole situation out there.
Yeah, if there's one whole chapter, it will probably end the whole.
Which I don't think should end yet.
Too soon, yeah, too soon. Not because, it's a fight that shouldn't end too soon. It's just that the timing where, we're already seeing conclusions to fights and conflicts, way too soon.
And, what's the goal of that fight? That's just, that ending doesn't really achieve much. There's no real end point, especially with the Marines there. It's just like a cluster.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see some bits of that part. But yeah, to focus on your question, Sengoku, she will have a part to play. Will it be as emphasized as this chapter? 2 possibilities. If she's going to be able to overcome some sort of conflict. I don't know what conflict it is. I don't think she's going to be able to overcome Trebol in terms of a fight. Maybe strategically dodging him, both literally and figuratively, throughout the whole conflict, where she distracts Trebol while Usopp finishes off Sugar. That is possible. Kind of meh to me. I don't know how I would like that. I mean, but at the same time, it is possible. But I do guarantee you that you will see more of Robin and more cool things. So yeah. Anything else you guys want to add up to this question?
I would say that he would like to see more of Robin as well, isn't he? He's one of the biggest Robin fanboys on OroJackson.
He is the biggest fan of Robin and OroJackson, I think.
And it's confirmed, like one of the biggest. And it was also confirmed during Davy Pack's fight that he's a pervert as well, so it all makes sense now.
Oh, I don't know about this. What happened?
I kind of want to know what that was about, but yeah.
We'll leave it to another time so I don't embarrass him, maybe.
But yeah, there is a possibility that she might get captured and or lose a fight with Trebol. So keep that in mind and don't get too disappointed if it happens. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. It's just.
I don't think he's going to be disappointed if that happens. For reasons best known to you.
Wow. Fine, got it.
Oh.
Just, all I'm gonna say is Trebol X Riven Dominatrix.
Riven?
Oh my, you said Riven.
Wait, what? Riven is too close. Trebol.
Oh my god, Trebol X Riven. That's taking it too far.
Shit, that's gonna stick, right?
Yeah, that's going to stick. I'm going to make sure Riven hears that part.
She's gonna hear it, and I just said that's gonna stick with a Trebol reference. I was not pun intended. I just want to mention that. I swear to God, I didn't mean it. I swear. I'm sorry, Riven. I mean, you're kind of Nico Robin. You're known as Robin, so it should be a compliment, sort of. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next question, please. Bricks 17. I never understood what bricks as in a brick or just
maybe
bricks.
It's a character name.
From Full Metal Alchemist, I think.
It's brick.
Okay, well, that's a question to you, Bricks. If you hear this, what is your name about, bro? It's a bro, right?
Yeah. As far as
okay, it's a bro. Okay.
You're what you want him to be.
Anyway, Brick17 asks, as much as I hate Usopp for being his coward self all over again, I know it's just build up for his character. Whatever. So, what do you guys exactly think he's going to do to redeem himself? Easy. Just defeat Sugar. Usual thing. Like, coward, hiding behind a wall from freaking toy dwarfs, and then all of a sudden,
come out
with an
epic
I think
speech.
one difference might be, normally he's goaded into, like, bravery, like, finally into being brave. Like, someone convinces him, like, with a talk or something like that. But this, he might decide himself for once to actually change his, what?
It's his goal. Like, his goal is to be brave. Like, you know how Zoro's goal is to...
Yeah, I'm not saying he's gonna finish his goal and be done with it now. I'm saying for one turning point, he's not gonna be, like, told, giving a talking to saying, you need to do this. He's gonna figure it out himself and finally man up. But he's not gonna achieve his goal because he's been a complete pussy for 30 chapters. And he's put a lot of people in harm's way. So it's it's not completing it, but he... Yeah.
I do see Cam's point. And
I do.
I do see Usopp...
As I said, he was regressing.
Yeah, Usopp is going to run away. He's not going to stay in the tower right now. He is going to run away, especially after...
Are you serious?
Yeah, after the ship crashed in. Do you think he's going to stay there? He's going to get the...
And just knocked out.
Yeah.
That would be so...
And then he's going to hide somewhere and then Robin is going to get captured, and he'll be like, oh no, I need to stand up, she's my nakama. He's going to have a flashback of his training, and then he's going to appear, and he's going to give an epic speech, and then he's going to defeat Treble, he's going to defeat Akainu, he's going to find One Piece.
You had to say Akainu. You had to say it.
Nakama power up. Power of friendship.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's the thing with him. Like, once he's brave mode, he is usually gonna defeat whatever.
Yeah. He could defeat White Bear with his little finger.
And dude, just fling a, sure kill. There's a reason why it's called sure kill, by the way, guys. Just saying. Once he's brave, it's a sure kill. Well, yeah, to kind of give a detailed opinion, Bricks, the guy is expecting to do that for the next few arcs until he gets some sort of development, because he already did. That's the fucking wrong thing about it. He was already brave in Fishman Island. He already said he's going to be out of the weakling trio to Nami in that one bar in Subodi Archipelago post time skip. He already got muscles and the goatee and, you know, looking all badass and shit. And then all of a sudden, Punk Hazard, he was scared of fodder. Of yellow suit wearing fodder. He turned purple, sweating. Like, what the and now he's afraid of toy dwarfs. And there is a possibility that he'll run away. So, take it as it is. He is gonna redeem himself. He's the kind of character where he always redeems himself. And, yeah. Anyone wants to say anything else?
Just don't
I
be...
trust Oda.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that. Don't be disappointed by any future actions of Usopp. Just, you know...
I'm feeling that he's going to be redeemed somehow. Oda wouldn't be doing this just to do it. I hope so.
Yeah,
Good
God, that would be stupid.
I hope he's like, oh, it's a kid's manga at heart, so we got to keep him really like. If he does it just for that, then disgusting. But yeah,
you know,
he's doing it. He's doing it sort of sometimes for comedic reasons, because people like it when Usopp freaks the fuck out, and you know that's funny and all. But now it's just,
this isn't comedic. Like,
yeah, it's not funny.
Let's take an example back to Water 7. I think Usopp redeemed himself with one shot to the world government flag for everything that had happened before the whole fight with Harry and stuff. Sure. So I think that's going to be something.
I think he did that because he was hiding behind a mask, to be honest.
No, but it was still epic.
Still same person.
His
muscles.
Yeah, what was that? Flame, whatever, the fire attack to burn the flag.
Fire, Phoenix, something.
Yeah, that redeemed himself.
I don't know where he could shoot down. It's like, he shoots Fujitora off Pika's shoulder. Shoot down.
Oh shit, dude. Just all the way from the underground world, he looks at Fujitora and Pika and notices Fujitora's like, well, who's this? Just out of nowhere, Usopp notices Fujitora and Pika and decides, hey, Sanji and Zoro, Luffy and Zoro need help. I'm just gonna shoot Fujitora off.
And then Fujitora even takes one shot and falls.
Yeah, and then it was like, I seem to have underestimated the Straw Hats.
Oh my god. What are we doing here?
Redeemed. Insidious.
Okay, so I kind of is gonna get defeated by Usopp as well as Treble, and Fujitora is gonna get knocked out. Usopp. Yeah, that's the moral of the story, Bricks.
Well, that's what he has to do to redeem himself right now. It's actually served me that way. So it's
to be honest, yeah, I agree. Because defeating a little girl is not I mean, granted, she's not just a little girl, she's way more than that. It's just that appearance-wise, call it prejudice, call it whatever you want. It's just, it's not the best type of way to redeem yourself. Just saying. But yeah, I think we're done. I think we answered your question to its fullest, Bricks. We even fucking trolled our way through it. But yeah, I hope all 5 of you, Mousy, Seiken, Tact, Sengoku, Bricks, I just want to say, Seiken, you're stupid Marimo. I hope you guys found the questions, the answers rather, helpful. And yeah, that concludes the Q&A segment, stupid Marimo. And yeah, we're gonna.
Let's give a small explanation for the whole stupid Mario mode thing. It's
whatever.
yeah, we have the private stuff section on OJ. Of course, every website has that. So there's this rivalry between Sammy and Sai that has been going on, and it's a lot like Zoro and Sanji. And Sai has taken Sanji's spot, Zoro's spot, while Sammy is Sanji, and they keep throwing insults at each other like Arrow Cook and Marimo and this and that, and it's kind of fun to watch them just figure it out.
Hey, by the way, guys, he started it. It's just saying.
Yeah, the day Sammy became an S-mod, he was like, yeah, you're finally here, now go do all my work.
I'm copying him, guys. Yep, definitely. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for bearing with our inside jokes all the way from the beginning of the podcast with Brennan. You guys probably don't know what the fuck we're talking about. And just, just bear with it. And for some reason, I mentioned army toilets. You just take it as it is, guys. And
there's only 3 of us as well this time, so.
Yeah, also,
we'll try our best.
I don't find it to be a disadvantage at all. I mean, I fucking enjoyed the hell out of this podcast.
Yeah.
I get annoyed by our voice. Everyone likes a bit of tact, you know that.
No.
I did ask for more tact, and we got rid of him straight away, so.
And I'm also sorry for coughing a few times today. I seem to have, I'm never gonna get rid of this cough ever since I got sick, which is, just, anyway, Div, Cam, you guys want to say anything? Just public disclaimers or anything before we, conclude this?
Shout out to me.
Shout out to Cam.
Okay, I just want to add the whole thing going on with OroJackson right now. With the patron, we just, I'm sure most of you have, if not already, seen the topic or seen at least the image on OroJackson, which was just changed during the podcast while these guys were speaking to themselves. I mean, I just put myself on mute and designed a new image for it.
Hey, who told you to design a new image?
I just felt that after Cam gave his opinion on the image on OroJackson, I thought it's better to change it to get more attention.
I'm the one who fucking told you, idiot.
Don't think that it's more of an advertisement to another site. Anyway, so we have this thing going on. Like, we updated our servers a bit, I guess last month. And back then we said that we wanted to make OJ self-sufficient, but we hate advertisements. And many of you came up with suggestions that why don't you start something like a premium membership or donations on OroJackson? And me and Luke are totally against that, because first, we would feel very bad if we would take your money and run OroJackson while giving you nothing in return. Like, it's
hey, tags and crowns.
Yeah, but that's stupid. That's stupid. Who wants?
It's a low blow.
Yeah, I know. But it's lame, and that is true. Any site that offers anything to do with visual, especially on forums. I mean, in games you can show off, but on forums to show off is just lame. So, but here we are giving you more than just visuals. If you help us, we can help you as well, and we can help One Piece as well. And with enough of support from everyone, we can hold monthly manga giveaways up to 3 volumes, 4 volumes, 5 volumes. We can hold monthly merchandise giveaway, let's say figures, DVDs, keychains, say whatnot. We can just...
Shirts.
Yeah, shirts is... Yeah, that's more advanced stuff. But for now, with the support of everyone, and it's just like, if we band together, even 200 members, if they each support just $1 each, and we reach half of our goal, and we can start like at least 4 or 5 manga giveaways per month. That's for sure. And we are helping One Piece in turn as well. You're not just helping OroJackson, even you are helping One Piece, and you're helping OroJackson help One Piece, because we are going to buy the official volumes and such, and then the money goes to the publishers, and in the end it goes to Oda. So you're helping One Piece legally, and just for like $1 a month, you can help One Piece legally, and you can feel good about yourself as well, because you're then a fan who's helping One Piece. So check out OroJackson and check out the topic, which you cannot miss. And
the only person who I know who could possibly miss it was Cam, but it's Cam, so.
And
but yeah.
For all those listening on YouTube who are not members on OroJackson, you will have a link to the topic as well. And those listening on Mixcloud will have a link there as well. So help us help One Piece, and in return you get free goodies like manga volumes. And it's actually quite a good offer if you look at it. There's like one manga volume is $8. A figure can be up to $150 or $140, and you can win this for just a monthly price of $1. So think about it; it's quite a good deal, and we are all
simply
doing
put, really, whatever price you pay, it's not going anywhere. It's just going to volumes, figures, and whatnot. So you, with your money, you're buying One Piece material, and us, we're just gonna give it to you. And of course, at the same time, there's no question about it. You're helping OJ improve as well in terms of everything. So there are no negatives, only positives. So go for it.
And that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening to the podcast as well and putting up with our jokes, as Cam and Sammy said. I mean, even I didn't get the reference of Cam's name. Maybe you can explain that to me later.
Okay, we're just gonna explain it real quick because we've explained everything in this conclusion for some reason. Might as well. You know how in Mafia we're known as a tag team where we fuck shit up and whoever opposes us gets wrecked and all of that. It's kind of called Scam. There's also another name which is Booth and Brennan. They're from Bones, a series, a TV show, and Brennan is by the way, she's the girl and I'm the guy. Just heads up.
The attractive one.
Dude, what the fuck? Alright, sure. Brennan is like the analytical list, intelligent, I will call you out. So, not rude, yes, not rude.
Not a dickhead.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yes. Girl, and Booth is the asshole, I will call you out, aggressive, you will.
Good points.
I get, stop fucking, who has good points as well, apparently. So that kind of explains that part and explains everything, and we've explained life in this podcast, so yeah. Bravo to us. Slow clap. Just, there you go. And yeah,
shout out to Brennan.
Shout out to Brennan. Shout out to Riven Extravo. That's gonna stick.
Oh, there's going to be a shout out to Riven for totally different reasons, but she doesn't want me to make it public. So, yeah, here you go, Riven.
Shout out to Riven then.
Shout out to Riven then. Shout out. Okay, end the podcast, guys. Bye. Just
bye-bye.
Say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Cam, say bye. Yeah, we all said bye. Bye. Goodbye.
Bye.